Oh, I'm so proud. Honey, I love you too. I'm so proud of being loved by you. I'm so proud of being loved I'm so proud of being loved. Baby, I'm so proud of you. Baby, I'm so proud of you. It's just the way you hold me. 'Cause it's just the way you touch me. I'm so proud of you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm so proud of you. Oh, baby, I'm so proud. I'm so proud of you. Hey, what's up, everybody? Peace, 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 people. This is For Black Righteous Folks Home. We're going to go over President Trump's speech that he gave before he signed the Laken Riley Act. And also later on in the live, we're talking about melanated deportations of Jamaicans and Nigerians. It's been a lot going on. A lot is happening in quick successions of activities. I can't hardly keep up with what's going on. But we're going to showcase Trump give his speech. I hope that you guys will support by hitting that like button. This is a really well spoken out speech, I must say. I kind of looked at it earlier today, and I was quite impressed with what Trump had to say. He said an awful lot, and I think that it is important that people follow Trump and what he's trying to do, because it does ultimately affect us. And the news about the government freeze, he kind of explained a couple of things about that. I don't know if it's in this speech or another speech, but I'm going to try to find that as well a little bit later. But let me get going with this. All videos that I show will be under the Copyright Act of 1976, 107 of the Copyright Act. This is covering commentary. This will cover education, observation, research. This will cover information and all the above entertainment. This is not meant to infringe, but to inform, to alert, to showcase what Trump, our president, has to say, and all the things that have been happening as of late. It is very important that we keep up with what Trump is doing, and so I'm therefore going to do that in this slide. Here we go with the first video.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States.
begin, I want to provide a brief report on the unprecedented success our country has been witnessing in recent weeks. Since even before the election, we've been making extraordinary progress. The American people gave us a clear mandate to save our country, and we won all 7 swing states by large margins, historic. Very importantly, we won the popular vote by millions and millions of votes. Also, all 50 states, as you know, shifted toward the Republican Party, and that's never happened before. All 50, every single one of them. In our first week in office, we set records, taking over 350 executive actions. That's not been done before. And it has reportedly been the single most effective opening week of any presidency in history. And we want to keep it that way. We want to keep it going. Keep it going. We've broken from decades of failed Washington policies and restored common sense and sanity to our government. We've unleashed American energy, and we've already achieved record low illegal immigration. As you see, nobody tried to get in. And that's what we've been waiting for a long time, and gotten woke ideologies out of our government and out of our military. The water has now begun flowing in California as we continue to increase the flow in coming days. Nobody's seen anything like that, and I've also taken strong action to regain control of the Washington bureaucracy. Just for clarification purposes, because it was incorrectly reported yesterday, we have informed the federal workforce, which they've looked to do for many years, that if they're working for the federal government, they must show up to the office on time and on schedule. We don't want that. We don't want them to work from home because, as everyone knows, most of the time they're not working, they're not very productive, and it's unfair to the millions of people in the United States who are in fact working hard from job sites and not from their home. As federal employees, they must meet a high standard. They're representing our government, they're representing our country. If they don't agree by February 6th to show up back to work in their office, they will be terminated, and we will therefore be downscaling our government, which is something that the last 10 presidents have tried very hard to do but failed. Most of the people we're talking about have not been going to their federal offices in many, many years, from even before COVID. But they have nevertheless been paid. Some have worked, some haven't worked, and most of the studies say that some have just gone through the motions. We may ask these people to prove that they didn't have another job during their so-called employment with the United States of America, because if they did, that would be unlawful. As you understand, a lot of people are getting paychecks, but they're actually working other jobs, so they'll have to prove that to us that they weren't. In any event, we're requiring them to show up to work or be terminated. We think a very substantial number of people will not show up to work, and therefore our government will get smaller and more efficient, and that's what we've been looking to do for many, many decades, frankly. In addition, there was a short-term pause or funding freeze on certain discretionary spending payments, such as government grants, only for us to quickly look at the scams, dishonesty, waste, and abuse that's taken place in our government for too long. As was explicitly stated, this in no way affected Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, or other entitlements that Americans depend on. I've made abundantly clear from the very first day that I ran from office, that was a long time ago now, that's 2015. If you think about it, I announced in 2015 and we won in 2016. We did very well in 2020, but we did really well just recently. And I'm restating right now to correct any confusion that the media has purposely and somehow, for whatever reason, created Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid have not been affected by any action we're taking in any way, shape, or form. We are merely looking at parts of the big bureaucracy where there has been tremendous waste and fraud and abuse. In that process, we identified and stopped $50 million being sent to Gaza to buy condoms for Hamas. 50 million. And you know what's happened to them? They've used them as a method of making bombs. How about that? We stopped an attempt to make an illicit payment for illegal alien resettlement. We canceled $181 million in DEI training contracts. This is just for the training of people in DEI, which has been terminated and completely terminated. And we paused $1.7 billion in unauthorized payments to foreign organizations, including stopping more than $40 million that was on its way out the door to the very corrupt World Health Organization, which has not done its job and not done it properly.
He is talking about the trimming of the fat from all these useless entities that are a part of the government. He's talked about the federal workers that have been home since or before COVID. He's saying that they need to go back to work. I believe that he's doing a buyout for people. He's offering for them to get a buyout if they choose to do that. His goal is to shrink some of the governmental agencies or dissolve them away. And he wants to get efficiency back in America, which I can't knock him, because we have been truly off the mark of having a standard. And Trump is bringing back the standard. He talked about $50 million condom to go, supposedly $50 worth. I don't know if they just said that as a lie, but really used $50 million for other things, or were going to use them for other things. But they were supposed to be designated to go to Gaza for $50 million worth of condoms. Can you guys believe that? Some people are saying that that is fake news, that that's a lie, but Trump's swearing by it. He's talking about getting rid of the organization of the health part. Let me rewind that again. I can't remember the name of it, but it's worth 50 or $40 million that he blocked from coming to this organization. And so he is downsizing. He is cutting the fat. He's getting rid of the waste. He is draining the swamp. I can't be mad at what he's doing. I respect what he's doing, because we have been in need for a long time to get checks and balances going. And I think that the other people have been compromised that have been a part of the so-called checks and balance. They are too gluttonous. They're too comfortable. They don't have nobody really checking them. And now Trump coming in out the gate, checking everybody. So let's go.
To them, they've used them as a method of making bombs. How about that? We stopped an attempt to make an illicit payment for illegal alien resettlement. We canceled $181 million in DEI training contracts. This is just for the training of people in DEI, which has been terminated.
Of course, DEI is a very controversial program that seeks to get other groups of people, the LGBTQ, Black folks, disabled people and whatnot, to be a part of the workforce. Sometimes they're not qualified or suitable for those positions in the estimation of what Trump's saying. So he's gutted the DEI from the government. He's getting rid of all of that, any association related to the DEI. Let's go.
Completely terminated, and we paused $1.7 billion in unauthorized payments to foreign organizations, including stopping more than $40 million that was on its way out the door to the very corrupt World Health Organization, which has not done its job and not done it properly.
The World Health Association was being he's saying he's stopped $40 million from coming to them. So I guess he is not wanting to have any affiliation with the WHO organization. What's up, African Goddess? You said for Black. I think I heard that someone from Trump's team has come out and said it was only $7 million spent on the Gaza condoms. Okay, so okay. I'm gonna check and see while this is going, but he's just said 50 million, so I don't know which one is telling the truth. In any event, why is money going to Gaza for any money for condoms? That's not helping the people out. Don't they need shelter and food and other things such as that? Why would they need condoms? I don't get it.
We also blocked $45 million for diversity scholarships in Burma. 45, that's a lot of money for diversity scholarships in Burma. You can imagine where that money went. These were the types of payments and many others. I could stand here all day and tell you things that we found. And we have to find them quickly because we want the money to flow to proper places. But these were the payments and types of payments affected by the temporary freeze, and the American people strongly support these efforts. I talked about it during the campaign, and they voted for us in record numbers. Every single day, we're now putting America first and fighting to get the most out of every single tax dollar for our great citizens. We've gathered this afternoon to take another historic action. However, in a few moments, the Laken Riley Act will become the very first bill that I proudly sign into law as the 42nd president. Laken was a brilliant and beautiful 22-year-old nursing student from Georgia, the best in her class. She was always the best. They would say, Laken, how do you do this? And what do you do? They were always asking her questions. She was respected by everybody, even her teachers. They respected her so much. From the time she was in first grade, Laken knew she wanted to spend her time caring for others. That's what she did. To her friends and classmates, she was a light of warmth and kindness in every single room. To her parents and family, she was everything in the world. They've had a miserable period of time. Just after 9 a.m. last February 22nd, Laken went out for a jog on the campus of the University of Georgia, but she was just never returned. She never came back, did she? Huh? Parents are here, sister, all of her relatives. While on her run, Laken was attacked, viciously assaulted, beaten, brutalized, and murdered by an illegal alien gang member who was set loose into our country by the last administration. We are deeply honored to be joined today by Laken's parents, Allison and John, and her sister, Lauren. Thank you very much. We were together right after that happened, and it's a tremendous tribute to your daughter, what's taking place today. That's all I can say, but so sad we have to be doing it at all. Thank you very much for being here. To Laken's family, we will keep Laken's memory alive in our hearts forever, everyone's hearts. With today's action, her name will also live forever in the laws of our country, and this is a very important law. This is something that has brought Democrats and Republicans together. That's not easy to do. Laken did it. Laken did it. America will never...
Can you guys believe it, that the Democrats finally agreed to support an act that's going to help us rid of these illegals that are causing all these crimes, all these chaos? He is going down the line on different counts of charges that they can be dealt with accordingly by this act, this Laken Riley Act. I think he's going to break down in this live what that entails. But I think it's a good thing that he is very humble sounding in this video. He's very presidential. All the jokes that people have made about Trump, it doesn't really add up to how he's really coming out running. As soon as he became president, he came out the gate running, and he's getting so much accomplished. We have got to be proud of this moment, because all the other presidents that we have had recently have been failures, especially Biden. Can you imagine Biden in comparison to Trump? It just does not compare.
Again, Laken Riley, the vicious criminal who murdered Precious Laken, was an illegal alien member of the barbaric Venezuelan prison gang known as Tren de Aragua. He trespassed across our southern border in 2022 and was apprehended by Border Patrol, but under the cruel policies of the last administration, instead of being deported as he should have been, he was released into the United States, as were millions of other people, many of them very dangerous people. And you see what we're doing, we're getting the hell out of here. Soon arrested again in New York City on charges of endangering a child, but because of New York City's deadly sanctuary policies, as we have in California and many other places, which we're going to end them, he was released again to reoffend. The Biden administration then provided this illegal alien criminal with a free taxpayer-funded flight from New York to Georgia, where he was arrested yet again, constantly, this time for stealing from a Walmart along with his gang member brother, who was a bad one. Only after being released the third time by the U.S. law enforcement did this cold-blooded criminal go out that fateful morning hunting for women on whom to prey. That's what he did. He hunted. It was like a hunter. I'm going to show him what the hunter is. This horrific atrocity should never have been allowed to happen. And as president, I'm fighting every single day to ensure that such a tragedy never happens again. We don't want this. Under the law I'm signing today, the Department of Homeland Security will be required to detain all illegal aliens who have been arrested for theft, burglary, larceny, shoplifting, assaulting a police officer, murder, or any crime that results in death or serious injury. In addition, for the first time ever, this act gives state governments the ability to sue the federal government for immediate injunctive relief if any future administration ever again refuses to enforce the immigration laws of the United States, like happened for 4 long years. Happening for 4 long years, frightful years. Amazing. You'd say, how can people do this? How can they allow this to happen? How can they allow criminals to pour into our country and then try and defend it? And they're still trying to defend it, but they can't. That's why I'm here instead of somebody else, actually.
Yes, the Democrats are going to still try to defend it, claiming that it's not as bad as the natives of America or the American people that have crimes committed. It doesn't measure in their mind up to what these illegals do, but we don't want to give them the opportunity to catch up. They are definitely not needed to be here in our society if they're committing crimes. So I am in support of this Laken Riley Act. I know that a lot of people probably feel some kind of way about them shoplifting or burglary or robberies or stealing of any kind. They can get arrested. I don't know if that means as well that they get deported, but they are detained and they are going to get dealt with one way or the other, I'm thinking. But let's see what else he has to say. And if you guys could, please come in the comment section. Don't be shy. What I do is read in the comment section what you guys desire to add to the conversation. If there's anything that you can add, I will read it and respond to it. But also, please hit the like button. It is for free. It does help the algorithm and everything like that. All you have to do is hit the 3 dots to the right-hand corner and thumbs up the video. I will greatly appreciate that. Let's go.
It's the biggest reason. I believe it's the single biggest reason. Inflation was horrible. Many things were horrible during that administration. When you look at what took place in Afghanistan, the way they got out, not that they got out, but the way so many things were horrible. But to me, this was the worst of all. It's a landmark law that we're doing today. It's going to save countless innocent American lives. I want to thank every House Republican, every Senate Republican, as well as the 12 Senate Democrats and the 48 House Democrats who voted to pass this vitally important bill, and many of them are with us today, and I really do appreciate it. And I very much especially appreciate the bipartisan support. The Democrats, really a big percentage of them came through, and plenty of them wanted to. They probably felt they couldn't, but they really wanted to. That they don't understand that would have made them a lot more popular, would have made them a lot better with their people. The ones that didn't are going to be, they're going to be sorry, because the people are not going to forget that they wouldn't say this is a perfect, incredible tribute to an unbelievable young lady. We're joined today by many great supporters of our new strong border policies, and they are indeed strong, including Vice President Vance, thank you, JD, the Secretary Scott Bessent, who just got approved, by the way. Where's Scott? He just got approved. Scott, I'm very impressed. You got a lot of Democrat votes. You got a lot of Democrat votes. That's great. I don't know, is that a good thing or a bad thing? I'll have to think about that. Secretary of Homeland Security, who's going to be fantastic. I know her so well, and I know it's probably not complimentary because she is a woman, but she is tough. Where is she? Where is Christy? Christy, great. Stand up, please. You have such an important job to do. Thank you very much. And don't let that look fool you. That look is, she's tough, and she cannot stand what she's having to sit here and even listen to this today. Another one who's done a job like nobody that I've seen in a long time. Tom Homan, he's my friend, but he is something special.
And I gotta say that Tom Homan has been really up for the task. I mean, he is everywhere interviewing. He's everywhere showcasing these deportations. I really like Tom Homan. I think that he was definitely the perfect pick for what is going on. And, it's a prideful moment for us to witness a real president, because what we witnessed for the past 4 years with Biden was total failure, total ultimate failure. And Trump is doing the total opposite of that. So salute to Trump, to President Trump. Let's go.
Tom and Christy, the numbers are unbelievable. What's happened? It's just shut down. Nobody thought that was even possible. It's just shut down. They showed an area that a year ago had thousands and thousands of people rushing into our country, and today there was nobody there. It was like a beautiful sight. And also Senate Majority Whip John Barrasso, great guy. Thank you, John. I also want to thank the bill sponsors, Senator Katie Britt. Katie, thank you, Katie. And Congressman Mike Collins. And Mike, you were fantastic from Georgia. He loves his state, and he took this very personally. So it's thank you very much, Mike. As well as Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Chuck Grassley. Chuck is here someplace. Chuck, thank you very much. You look great. And House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan, who's a special man. And House Homeland Security Committee Chairman Mark Green. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mark. And we have many other congressmen and senators, but I'm not going to introduce because this is about your daughter. This is about something that's so important, and we're going to just go along. Thank you also. We have to say Bert Jones is in the room, and Bert is your lieutenant governor, and he was on this like you wouldn't believe. Thank you very much. I see you sitting there. Thank you very much. So we have state, local officials, we have law enforcement organizations, we have everybody. Most of them are in the room or represented in the room, and they're incredible people, and I've never seen them come together like they have for this. I've done many of these, not of this kind, but different bills, different passages having to do with many different things, from homeland security to inner security to taxes to 50 different items. I've never seen such support as you have today, and as your great daughter has today. So I've never seen anything like it. And we have to thank your daughter for that, because she's going to save a lot of lives. She's going to be responsible for saving a lot of lives. So I'd like to just say to the Angel families, I've been with them and they've been with me from 2015 when I first got this crazy idea in my head to run for president because we could do better as a country. I want to thank so many of the people that are here that have been the angel moms, and we call them angel moms, but they're angel families, fathers, sons, daughters, but they've suffered tremendously like you have for no reason whatsoever. I want to thank Alexis Nungari, the mother of 12-year-old Jocelyn Nungari, murdered last summer by 2 illegal alien gang members released into the United States by Joe Biden's open border stupid policies. And
speaking of that, I wanted to show another video where a guy was just talked about with the release of him and just how it's been working out. But now this Venezuelan migrant who again was ordered release now is back in ICE custody. But this just goes to show you what Biden was doing when he was in office in comparison to what Trump's doing now that he's in office. But let's take a listen at this, and then we'll get back to Trump. Of course, please hit the like. I would greatly appreciate it. Let's go.
Tonight, Edward Martinez Cermeño is back in federal custody just one day after a federal judge right here in Chicago ordered the 24-year-old former Venezuelan police officer released. Martinez Cermeño is now being held out of state at an Immigration and Customs Enforcement facility and could be in line for deportation. Clearly posted in color on the Immigration and Customs Enforcement detention page, there it is. Edward Martinez Cermeño, status in custody, detained at the Clay County, Indiana Detention Center. In a lengthy initial court appearance Tuesday, federal magistrate Judge Gabriel Fuentes determined federal prosecutors did not meet their burden of proof to keep Martinez Cermeño locked up awaiting trial. His charge, the federal misdemeanor crime of crossing the U.S. border illegally in western Texas in 2023. Judge Fuentes ordered Martinez be processed and released immediately.
It seems to me the judge did absolutely the right thing here.
Allison Ziegler founded the Federal Criminal Justice Clinic at
No, he didn't. But again, people are always trying to give these illegals a whole lot of excuses. And I'm glad that the guy is back in custody instead of roaming around because of them just wanting to appease these illegals.
University of Chicago.
This kind of case is what we call a mandatory release case, meaning this man has to be released unless the prosecutor can actually prove that there is a, quote, serious risk that he will flee the jurisdiction if he's released.
Martinez Cermeño's federal defender argued Tuesday his pending asylum case set for April 2026 proved he was not a flight risk. Cook County court records also show Chicago police arrested Edward Martinez Cermeño for felony retail theft in January 2024, and he failed to appear for court, triggering a warrant for his arrest. That is a non-violent criminal charge, not a conviction. In a new law amplifying his deportation efforts Wednesday, President Trump spoke to cases just like this.
Under the law I'm signing today, the Department of Homeland Security will be required to detain all illegal aliens who have been arrested for theft, burglary, larceny, shoplifting.
Edward Martinez Cerminho had been in federal custody roughly 40 hours when he stepped before the judge Tuesday. Despite the judge's orders for his release, immigration law experts say ICE was within the law to re-detain him when and if Martinez Cerminho walked free.
If the marshals did what they were supposed to do, the guy got released, and then ICE came and got him, they are allowed to then come and get him on their detainer. That's my understanding.
We did reach out to the Schomburg family that Martinez Cerminho had lived with multiple times today, and we still have not heard back about how his release transpired last night. His federal defender only referred us to the ICE detention website. Tonight, it is still not clear if the 24-year-old was in fact released and immediately re-detained. What we do know is Edward Martinez Cerminho is locked up and could be in line for deportation. Cheryl, watch breaking news.
Thank goodness. Thank goodness. Get them all up out of here. They don't need to be here.
And thank you very much, Alexis. I want to thank you very much. We had an amazing trip, and it was really special to meet you and your family. Appreciate it very much. So sad we have to be here, frankly. And Jocelyn, as you know, is in our hearts as she was then. It was an amazing day we had, a great day. But it was a day of celebration of somebody that unfortunately won't be with us, but she is with us now. You know that. Here also is Patty Morin, the mother of Rachel Morin, killed 2 years ago by an illegal alien who was let into our country by the last administration's ridiculous, weak policies. Open border, can you imagine? When I heard open border, I said, oh, that's terrible. They're going to release their prisons all over the world. They're going to release their prisons into our country. That's exactly what happened. Patty is joined by Rachel's brother, Michael, Rachel's daughter, Clementine, and sister-in-law, Shannon. Thank you all for being here. We appreciate it very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. With us as well is the loving family of Kayla Hamilton, a 20-year-old girl murdered in July 2022 by the MS-13 illegal alien gang member who is violent, vicious, and they knew it, and they didn't do anything about it. And I want to thank you to Kayla's mother, Tammy, and her grandmother, Kathy, and her stepfather, Jeremiah, very much. And finally, I want to thank others who have also suffered this horrible scourge that goes on with young people being killed, and other people too, but young people, largely young people being killed. Thank you to Scott Root, the father of Sarah Root, killed at 21 years of age. Think of that, 21 by an illegal alien, shouldn't have been in our country, would have never been in our country if we were here. What a sad thing to each of these angel families. We love you and we stand in awe of your courage and your strength. It's the toughest thing anybody has to go through. Many of the angel families here today were betrayed by the last administration and with this heartless and foolish and really very, very arrogant and very, very dumb policies that aren't even believable.
Exactly, Jennifer. Jennifer says, finally, we've got a president who's putting his foot down. Thank the Lord. Yes. Doesn't it feel really different from what Biden put us through? Someone that was sleeping all the time, unavailable all the time, unaware a lot of times, distorted and distracted a lot of times. Trump comes in very competent, very confident, all the above. You know, the makings of a real leader I see in Trump.
When you talk about common sense, I say we're the party of common sense, but the Democrats also, they have plenty of common sense, and that's why so many are here today and so many supported what we're doing. The very government that was supposed to protect their daughters instead opened our borders and transported the world's most dangerous criminals straight into their communities. They came from prisons and jails and insane asylums and mental institutions from all over the world, not just South America. People think South America. They come from all over the world. They come from every continent. And they came here by plane and they were loaded onto buses and they were driven right up to our border and they drove right through the border and nobody even said a word to them. And in those buses and those cars and those trucks were some of the meanest criminals anywhere in the world. As of last September, 425,000 illegal alien criminals were roaming free, including 13,099 convicted illegal alien murders, of which about almost 50% killed more than one person, and they were roaming all over the country in our farms, in our cities. Under the Trump administration, we're moving with urgency and speed to get these vicious and violent criminals the hell out of our country and to restore law and order to our suburbs, our cities, and our towns. And we're going to do it with Tom and with Christy and with all of the people that are working so hard on this.
While he's doing all this, making progress, making leaps and bounds of, instantaneous progress and assertion, he's asserting his power. There are a lot of people still trying to protest against Trump. This was hundreds of people appeared outside of Trump Hotel in Las Vegas. They're calling themselves pushing back on what he's trying to do. It's so ridiculous that these people would want to protest for illegals that are criminals. But this is what's going on. Let's listen to this real quick.
Hundreds of people gathering outside Trump Hotel today to push back against the administration's immigration policies and promises to carry out mass deportations. The protest was peaceful but heated, with several police there to block roads for a time. I was there today and spoke with protesters more about their movement. Pushing back with a passionate protest. Hundreds gathering across from Trump Hotel Wednesday, signs in hand, chanting for change.
We should be upset. We should be angry, and not enough people are.
Many here say they're unhappy with the actions the president has taken since he was sworn into office last week, mainly changes on immigration.
I know a lot of people who have an undocumented family, and they're worried that they're going to be separated. They're going to lose, their children.
President Trump signing multiple executive orders in his first days in office, vowing to conduct mass deportations, strengthen border security, and end birthright citizenship for children of undocumented immigrants, a move that was temporarily blocked by a federal judge that called it unconstitutional.
All illegal entry will immediately be halted, and we will begin the process of returning millions and millions of criminal aliens back to the places from which they came.
Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance calling these moves positive for the future.
We are going to enforce immigration law. We're going to protect the American people.
A plan this group says it disagrees with.
We're going to end up on the wrong side of history. We're already watching it.
And will continue to resist.
We are going to stand up, and we will fight him until we win.
Now, protesters told me they didn't have a specific organizer. This was more of a grassroots movement. They all came together near Caesar's Palace and marched to Trump Hotel, where they chanted for about 3 hours.
Well, where were they chanting when all these murders have been happening behind this trend? The Agua gang has been terrorizing Americans throughout America. Now, just recently, there was 10 suspected trendy Aragua gang members arrested in New York City, and they had a gun trafficking bust. This just goes to show you that if it was not for Trump, these type of activities would not be taking effect. They would not be taking place. Those people would be setting up shop, doing whatever the hell they want to do. If Kamala was the one that was in power, and thank God she's not. So this is a great bust that just happened. Let's listen.
Suspected gang member is now under arrest in connection to a gun trafficking operation that prosecutors say spanned across multiple boroughs.
Nearly 3 dozen guns were seized and 50 grams of pink cocaine. Fox 5 Jessica Formosa joins us live from Kew Gardens, Queens, where the charges were just unveiled, Jess.
Natasha and Steve, that's right. It's a slew of charges that they face. This was a 120-count indictment. Now the DA says 8 of those alleged gang members are now in police custody. 2 are on the loose. These gang members are allegedly from the Venezuelan gang Tres de Aragua. Please take a look at this video. Go ahead. This is the moment the NYPD makes the arrest. Among those handcuffed, 2 women. Authorities say the alleged gang members were trafficking guns and drugs not only throughout throughout New York City, but as far as Texas and Colorado, with plans to expand their network to Colombia. The DA says this was a years-long investigation. 34 guns were recovered, including 4 semi-automatic pistols, 2 assault weapons, and a ghost gun during the takedown that took place yesterday in the Bronx.
6 of these weapons were reported stolen from other states across the country, including Colorado, Pennsylvania, and Texas. TDA is a dangerous transnational gang that is specialized in murder, trafficking, and mayhem.
The defendants, using WhatsApp, helped traffic and sell weapons in Queens, the Bronx, and elsewhere. They relied on use of rental vehicles to come up the iron pipeline and sell them to people in the city of New York.
The defendants range in age from 19 to 31 years old. They face multiple charges, including criminal sale of a firearm, criminal possession of a weapon, conspiracy, and other crimes. According to the NYPD, Tren de Aragua has a presence all over New York City and other states such as Florida. We are told when they are wanted in one city, they move on to the next.
This crew alone has previous arrests for attempted murder, firearms trafficking, assault on a police officer, gun possession, robbery, burglary, grand larceny, and sex offenses. And to be clear, during yesterday's case takedown, one of these perpetrators fractured the arm of one of the detectives so severely that he's scheduled to have surgery later this week.
And the NYPD says they have 67 Tren de Aragua gang members in the criminal database so far. The chief says there may be even more here in New York City. That said, 5 of the suspects could face up to 25 years behind bars. Now, we want to be clear, authorities telling us that this takedown has nothing to do with the ICE raids that we saw yesterday take place across New York City. This was the DA working along with the NYPD to get guns off our streets. That's the latest I have from Kew Gardens. I'm Jessica Formoso, Fox 5 News. Natasha, Steve.
Okay, let me see what you guys have to say in the chat. If you have anything else to add for what you have recently witnessed. Those protesters, again, don't care about these gangs that are released among us with all these gangs and all these drugs and all this stuff that's going on. They don't care nothing about that. But they have a lot to say about these deportations overall. Again, it's an agenda by the Democrats. I think a lot of these people are paid to partake in these protests, it feels like, because it doesn't make sense for us to be in support of rounding up criminals that are harming us. Let me see. Thank you for coming back, Jennifer. I really appreciate seeing you. Thank you for that. You said, finally, we got a president who's putting his foot down. Thank the Lord. Exactly. And African Goddess says, I really think Biden had dementia. The team around him were responsible for whatever happened. Exactly. They let America go. They let us down, and they have been failures. What's up, Leo? Thank you for coming back. I really appreciate seeing you. Patrick says, people don't do this without organizers, paid professionals, always hired by the narrative enforcers. You ain't never lied. I'm pretty sure George Soros is not too far away when trying to get these protests going and everything like that. African Goddess says, I can't understand why some people would generally protest against deportations, but not the deportation of dangerous criminals. That's ridiculous. Exactly. The Chief Wild Horse says, release the Epstein list. I heard that. And everybody, hello in the clouds who all are here. If you have not yet, please hit the like button. Please share and subscribe to my channel. And Jim says, and I am a Trump supporter, and I am too. I am very much interested in all that he's doing. I think that he's doing a great job so far. I think that he had a little bit of us scared a little bit because of how the government freeze was appearing to take off very quick. But hopefully he will work out the kinks and all of that and come back with a better, well-explained format for the governmental freeze. But let's complete the rest of this live. I want to showcase Trump signing the Laken Riley Act. He's going through all the particulars about this Laken Riley Act and other crimes of these illegals to why he is going to sign this into legislation or an act. Let's listen.
Including 13,099 convicted illegal alien murderers, of which about almost 50% killed more than one person, and they were roaming all over the country in our farms and our cities. Under the Trump administration, we're moving with urgency and speed to get these vicious and violent criminals the hell out of our country and to restore law and order to our suburbs, our cities, and our towns. And we're going to do it with Tom and with Christy and with all of the people that are working so hard on this. This week, compared to a comparable time a year ago, think of this, the number of illegal border crossers has already fallen by more than 100%. And because the election was coming, they started getting a little bit tougher on the border. They tried to follow our policies, and they did much better, but it still was horrible. The numbers were still horrible, so that's 100% over those. They only did it because of the election, so they knew what they were doing was wrong. And those who do cross the border, and you're seeing that every time, all you have to do is turn on your television set or pick up a newspaper, read any form of new media, because we have a lot of new media today, fortunately, that's letting the word get out. But they're watching these people be captured and removed from our country. ICE arrests have risen by 15 times in just a short period. And over the past 8 days, the heroes of ICE and Border Patrol, we can never forget Border Patrol. Those people, I've gotten to know so many of them. Our border czar, as you remember, never went to the border and never made a phone call. She was the border czar. She never made one phone call. They went to the heads of border. They went to the heads of ICE. Did you ever get a call? No. And she admitted she never made one call, but she was the border czar. And that's exactly what our border was all about. Can
you imagine if Kamala Harris was president right now, how far much more the borders would be open, how pleasantly gleeful that more illegals would be coming over here in droves upon droves upon droves, and it just would have been compacted aliens all over the place. Crimes would have been soaring all over the place. Now people are hiding out. People are trying to stay out of Dodge as best as they can, and they're getting caught up because the time is up for them to be roaming free, doing whatever the hell they want to do. Let me see what you guys are saying. Tank says, we can't have this in America. It's time to take our country 100% back. I heard that. That is absolutely correct. Sorry, Tank hits send too quick. I was trying to say right on. Okay. Thank you for that. Thank y'all for any comments that you have to say. I really appreciate your input. If you guys could, please don't forget the like button and share. Let's get back to the rest of this speech of Donald Trump.
Exactly what our border was all about. The heroes of ICE have arrested thousands and thousands of illegal alien criminals, including hundreds of gang members, traffickers, child predators, terrorists, and murderers. For the first time in history, we're loading dangerous and illegal aliens into military aircraft and flying them back to the places from which they came. You probably read about Colombia 2 days ago. They said, no, we're not taking them. They said, we're going to take them. You're going to take them. You're going to like it too. They talked about we're not going to take people that are in shackles. I said, well, but the people that are in shackles are murderers, they're drug lords, they're rapists, they're very tough people. They make our criminals look like very nice people. That's about the only thing that comes out of this. And I said, could you imagine you're a pilot on the plane and you have your co-pilot, you're sitting there and you have 150 people, no shackles, and they like to murder people. This would not be a good flight. So actually, Colombia apologized to us profusely within an hour based on something I said, meaning you're going to pay tariffs like nobody's ever paid tariffs before, but they actually wanted to terminate his position. They're essentially Congress met and they were very angry with them. but they actually said they were going to send the presidential plane to pick up these criminals and to bring them because they didn't want to inconvenience us or have us do a second flight. And that's what they did. And I appreciate it. And I do appreciate the people of Colombia are wonderful people, and the representatives really acted well. And I appreciated they took back that tough talk. But, you know, we may have tough talk from others, but it's not going to mean anything. They're going to all take them back, and they're going to like it too. They're going to like it.
It's more than just tough talk when it comes to Trump. He is also having troops involved. They have arrived in San Diego border alongside of probably the Border Patrol people, but troops arrive, and they're expected to get like maybe 100,000 people up out of San Diego. At least that was on another video that said that. Let's see what this video says.
Hundreds of National Guard members and military troops arriving at the Imperial Beach Border Patrol Station today. It comes after President Donald Trump ordered to send troops to the U.S.-Mexico border earlier this week. ABC 10 News reporter Laura Acevedo breaks down what this means as the president lays out his new plan on immigration.
Well, this Border Patrol station in Imperial Beach is just miles away from the border wall, and it's here that we saw troops preparing for their next mission. Troops on the ground in San Diego, a part of President Trump's promise to crack down on the situation at the southern border. Friday, Sky 10 saw troops at the Imperial Beach Border Patrol station. Cameras capturing tents, concertina wire, and trucks lined up. From the ground are Marines in what appeared to be a staging area. This video shared by the White House shows U.S. Marines along the border wall. A total of 1,500 troops are part of this initial mission, including 500 from Camp Pendleton. The troops' arrival comes at the same time that Attorney General Rob Bonta visited San Diego as part of a Know Your Rights tour for immigrants in the state, hoping to calm fears for those already in the country.
I know there's a tremendous amount of fear and anxiety and confusion.
The military says the troops' duties will include repairing and placing physical barriers. A senior defense official telling ABC News this is just the start, and they are, quote, anticipating many further missions. At the U.S.-Mexico border, Laura Acevedo, ABC 10 News.
Along with the U.S. border, Laura also covered stories about the South Bay and Latino communities. If there's a story you want.
Okay, so anyways, getting back to Trump, that's how tough Trump has been getting. He is not playing games with nobody. People should be on their very best behaviors as citizens, and we have to know that he is trying to purge where he can and cut fat where he can and get rid of all the negativities. And I'm pretty sure that he's going to be coming to Chicago to clean up some of that gang activity eventually as time progresses, because I can't imagine him going through getting rid of all of these illegals that are criminals and not want to tackle any of the criminals that are in America. So be warned about gang activities, drug activities, murders, or whatever the hell gang-related situations are, because I'm pretty sure Trump is probably eyeing and thinking about how he wants to tackle those types of things eventually. And this is why he kind of inserted yesterday in one of his speeches where if you are a repeat, maybe 10 or more repeats, you might be getting deported yourself somewhere, he had said. He said that he's considering transporting or deporting citizens somewhere else out of the country, is what he said. So he's already thinking of thoughts that is, might be something that we might want to clean up on, different things that we're doing, behavioral issues and traumas that we have. We might want to consider trying to clean that up, because eventually he's going to be trying to come to the neighborhoods that are not doing good at all. And I'm not going to be surprised once he does do that. You said, Snake, how are you doing, Snake? Thank you for the like. I really appreciate you. You said, I said, adios to the gangsters. Adios to the gangsters. I like that. Signing before he signs the Laken Riley Act, he's going through all the changes of explaining why this act is important, why he is very proud to do it, and everything like that. Let's go.
Not going to mean anything. They're going to all take them back, and they're going to like it too. They're going to like it. They're going to take it back, and they're going to like it. Today, I'm also signing an executive order to instruct the Departments of Defense and Homeland Security to begin preparing the 30,000-person migrant facility at Guantanamo Bay. Most people don't even know about it. We have 30,000 beds in Guantanamo to detain the worst criminal illegal aliens threatening the American people. Some of them are so bad we don't even trust the countries to hold them because we don't want them coming back. So we're going to send them out to Guantanamo. This will double our capacity immediately, right? And tough. It's a tough.
And he's saying that they got about 30,000 beds in Guantanamo Bay. So, man, he is not playing. Look at him. He is serious as a heart attack. If you are a criminal and you are an alien or a criminal overall, you need to be wary and worried about Trump.
To get at him. Today's signings bring us one step closer to eradicating the scourge of migrant crime in our communities once and for all. And it was just it's just an unforced error that we even have to be doing this. Now we need Congress to provide full funding for the complete and total restoration of our sovereign borders, as well as financial support to remove record numbers of illegal aliens. And these are illegal alien killers, criminals at levels that nobody's ever seen before. And you would have known that, and you were there when I said it. I said everybody that's bad is going to be thrown. If you look at Venezuela, Venezuela's crime is down 77%. Because they've taken their gang members, their prisoners, their drug dealers, their drug lords. They've shipped them all into the United States. Many other countries, their crime is way down, and our crime is not doing well. But we're going to have it do really well very soon, and we're shipping all these people back where they came from. And now, before I sign the Laken Riley Act into law, I would like to ask Laken's really incredible mother I've gotten to know. A very sad day I got to know her. But this is an amazing tribute to an amazing young person. And if you could come up, Allison, and say a few words, that would be great. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Trump. We would like to thank Senator Katie Britt for her diligent bipartisan work to get this bill through the Senate. We'd also like to thank Congressman Mike Collins for his unwavering passion and for leading on the Laken Riley Act from the start. Our family will forever be grateful for the prayers of the people across our nation and for helping to get this legislation into law. We also want to thank President Trump for the promises he made to us. He said he would secure our borders and that he would never forget about Laken. And he hasn't. He's a man of his word. We trust that he will fight for the American people. Most importantly, I want to thank our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, because without his sacrifices, Laken's story would have ended on that horrific day that she was taken from us. But because of him, we can continue living knowing that we will see Laken again. There's no amount of change that will ever bring back our precious Laken. Our hope moving forward is that her life saves lives. We're so thankful that her passion for helping others and her legacy for doing good in the name of Jesus Christ will carry on. Thank you.
So just in a little bit, he's about to sign it. So I'm going to watch it up until then, and then we'll go on to the next topic. We're going to talk about a little bit about Brandon Johnson, the mayor of Chicago, possibly being investigated He has been summoned to go to some type of hearing meeting in regards to the sanctuary city there in Chicago. But there are people, the Chicagoans, feeling like he has his hands dirtied behind monies that have come through Chicago. And they are, wanting to have an investigation onto Brandon Johnson. But before I get to that, let's first complete the rest of this video and watch him sign in the Laken Riley Act. Again, if you are an illegal, you cannot, no longer be catch and released as many times as it used to be with the Biden years. It's going to be catch and arrest if you are stealing, if you are killing, if you are doing all the different things that crimes call for. You can be arrested and detained and possibly deported, depending upon how bad off they think and deem you to be. You can be deported, or you could be sent to Guantanamo Bay. You could be put, somewhere where you are not from. Over there in Guantanamo Bay. I wonder where exactly that is. But that doesn't sound nearby. And it sounds very dangerous. But these are the provisions that Trump is providing for people that are criminals. And that is just the way that it is. Let's go.
Sign this in honor of Laken Riley. If you want to change things to the people who love, so it's your own. Okay? I don't think this is appropriate time. I respect that, but I don't think it's appropriate. I can just tell you government is doing very well and we're cutting way back, but this is not the appropriate time. Thank you.
So it's been signed. It's official. It's been done. So beware all the illegal criminals that have been running around loose and free, doing whatever they thought that they can get away with doing, getting very comfortable with Biden. And now Trump has put the hammer down and he's not playing with nobody at all. Now, someone had mentioned yesterday, I believe in the chat room, that there had been Chinese migrants that were stopped in Florida. And I couldn't find a video yesterday, but I found one today. So I want to showcase this to show that there are global people from all over the place over here illegally. They have taken advantage of our system that was not working, that was failed under Biden. And now we have a new sheriff in town and Trump is putting that hammer down. And now we're getting all these people getting stopped and arrested. Thank the Lord.
All right, when we talk about illegal immigration, a lot of people assume all those illegal immigrants are from Latin America, but that's not the case. Illegal immigrants are actually from all over the world, including China. Encounters with Chinese nationals coming here illegally grew by 5,000% just from 2021 to last year. That's more than a blip. It's a trend. And it's playing out all over the country, including in Florida, where Chinese migrants are being smuggled into the state. For the second time this month, police stopped vans carrying migrants in Coral Gables, a wealthy Miami suburb, and 26 Chinese nationals and 2 smugglers were arrested. Are these simply desperate individuals looking for a better life, or are they potentially spies or saboteurs sent as agents of the Chinese Communist Party? Joining us now is senior national correspondent Brian Enton with more details on the Florida arrest. Do we have any idea where all these Chinese migrants are coming from and why?
Yeah, we're trying to figure out, Elizabeth, and ISIS too, where they're coming from and where they're going. It's very interesting what's been happening here in Coral Gables, though, because as you mentioned, this is a very fancy, wealthy part of Miami. You've got the Biltmore Hotel, the Vizcaya Estate isn't far from here. These houses behind me are tens of millions of dollars. And now for the second time in 2 weeks, there were these white vans pulled over here in the neighborhoods of Coral Gables, and inside them were dozens and dozens of Chinese migrants and also smugglers. They were stopped yesterday, and then 2 weeks before that, very, very similar, another white van. The police chief here says they believe that these migrants were dropped off somewhere in the area along the water, along the Atlantic Ocean here. And it's interesting when you dig into it, there's this issue with the Caribbean right now, Elizabeth. China is buying up thousands and thousands of acres of land in the Caribbean, places like Antigua, the Bahamas. It's being called America's third border, and we're told that's a place where these Chinese migrants stop on their way to Florida. We spoke with Congressman John Molinar. He is the chairman of the Select Committee of the CCP. He is aware of this. Listen to what he told us, Elizabeth.
In the case of the Chinese, you don't know the affiliation with the Chinese Communist Party, and that's the concern, because the Chinese Communist Party will leverage Chinese nationals to do things that are nefarious and against the interests of the United States.
And an interesting twist here in Coral Gables, Elizabeth, is it's actually neighbors who have been tipping off authorities. They've been calling 911. In the recent case, a neighbor actually thought there was a kidnapping happening, saw them moving these Chinese migrants from a car into the white van right on the street, called the police, said, "I think I see a kidnapping." Police come out and realize that it's this smuggling operation.
Yeah, and Brian, it's not just Florida. We've seen video of Chinese migrants walking across the border in California as well from Mexico. It's unclear how many of these people are trying to escape the Communist Party in China and how many of these people might be working on behalf of the Communist Party in China.
Yeah, exactly. And we don't know the answer. You heard the congressman there say the concern is if some of them are working on behalf of the CCP, and then where are they going in the country? Remember, we did the story in Oklahoma. You've got the illegal Chinese pot grow houses there. I mean, there's all sorts of little issues happening all over the country where these people are funneled out to. In terms of this Florida group, where they were going, all that's under investigation.
All right, so we've now traced them from farms in remote and rural Oklahoma to fancy schmancy neighborhoods in Coral Gables, Florida. Brian Enton, who knows where they'll turn up next. Thank you so much.
Thank goodness we have a president that's going to be having somebody waiting to pick them up or deport them back to where they belong, or jail them, or whatever the hell he needs to do. Let me see what you guys are saying in the chat. What's up, Pulsating? How are you? What's up, Tanks? You said Texas and Florida 100% support Trump. God bless America. Thank goodness for that, Tanks. Thank you for that. Send every one of them back ASAP. One Sprue Cool says. What's up, Charles Harvey? Thank you for coming through. Long time no see. Thank you for coming through. Magpie, thank you for coming back. You said, I say it's a fair share of both. Okay. I feel you. I feel you. I feel you. Now, as I said before, Chicago is really bringing the noise when it comes to the Brandon Johnson mayor. And they are, wanting him to be investigated because of all the consideration that he has for these illegals. They're figuring that he must be hiding money because there are some things that's been brought out lately about Brandon Johnson, this mayor. And I'm going to discuss that right now. But this is Danny C. She is an advocate there in Chicago. She's a resident of Chicago. She's an American, a Black American, and she is about had it with Brandon Johnson. And she wants a thorough investigation to be on Brandon Johnson. And she did chummy up with Tom Homan of the Border Czar. They had a gathering about a month ago where they were having Tom Homan speak at this gathering, and she made an appearance there and had a conversation with Tom Homan. And I think that she got in saying, come to Chicago first. So that is definitely one of the cities that has been hemmed up and will be hemmed up. And they might be even getting the Brandon Johnson, maybe get in trouble with prosecuting him for trying not to help out with these deportations. But let's listen to what she has to say. I really like her videos and what she brings to the table as far as, her feelings about Brandon Johnson. Let's go.
I just watched Brandon Johnson do a press conference. This man is hell-bent on destroying Chicago and not listening to the Chicago citizens. But you know what? I know somebody who do. President Trump, if you get this video, please, you are the people's president. You are the one we voted for. You are the real MVP. You are the one, you are the voice of the people, President Donald J. Trump. This man is hell-bent on destroying Chicago and going against everything that the Chicago citizens want. Thank you, President Donald Trump, for listening to us and hearing us, because we Chicago Flips Red and push to get you in office because we know that you're the answer, and the only way that we're going to make a real change in Chicago if we flip Chicago and Illinois red. That's our main purpose. We want to make Chicago great again and get these crooks up out of the office, because we know they have no good, ill intentions for America, the Democrat Party. Now, we want to thank you, Mr. President, for listening to us and caring about us citizens of Chicago. Because we have made a change, because a lot of people in Chicago came out and voted for you. Thank you, Mr. President, for hearing us and summoning Brandon Johnson to Washington about what's going on with these illegals. We, the citizens of Chicago, have demanded and asked him. We want a forensic audit. We need a breakdown of how he spent our taxpayer dollars on these illegals, because we know that him and his administration and those aldermen have stolen a lot of our tax dollars. So we have demanded a breakdown to see how it was spent, who it was spent on, and how much of our tax dollars was spent. And we have yet received anything. And even William J. Kelly, the reporter, have been asking about this. So we ask you, and we're giving you, and we want to give you, if he do not show up in Washington, then we are asking you to send the DOJ, FBI down here, because we are demanding a forensic audit. Because we know, Mr. President, that you listen to the people. And if we can't get justice here, then we're going to go to the federal level. Then, to add insult to injury, this man had the nerve to go and try to impose a $300 million property tax hike on the citizens. Now, he has stolen all of our money. And then he had the nerve to come back and try to tax us on the community, on the city that has already been economically stricken of everything. We are already in an economic crisis, especially in the urban communities and the Black communities. And this man want to get up there and talk about how you are doing things to hurt the Black community. No, he's doing things to hurt the Black in the urban communities. Mr. President, you are the people's president. You are listening to the people, that everyday working class, poor, middle class citizens. And we are asking you, If this man don't cooperate with you and don't come down there to Washington, then that's okay. We want to give you ammunition to come down here because we're demanding. The citizens, Chicago Flips, we're demanding a forensic audit of how our money was spent and also about how our money was spent with these COVID funds, because they use that too to fund this illegal alien scam. So if this video gets to you, Mr. President, thank you. Thank you so much for listening to us, for hearing us, the citizens of Chicago, Illinois, for hearing us, for caring about us, and doing what you promised to do on your campaign trail. Thank you. And thank you, Tom Homan, for coming in Chicago personally and help getting these illegals out of our community. We don't care about just the ones who committed a crime. The crime was when you came over here illegally. That was the crime. When you cross that border illegally, you are therefore a criminal, therefore making you have committed a criminal act, and you have to go and come back the right way. So, thank you, Mr. President, and we ask you to come to Chicago and help us clean Chicago up.
Okay, she is not playing. And why should she say such a thought? Why should she say Brandon Johnson needs to be investigated? Well, he has a lot of stuff that he has to explain as far as getting gifts. Let me find this video. He be getting gifts, hundreds of valuable gifts not properly reported by the mayor's office, says WGN News. Access blocked to room inspecto. So I think they're going to be gearing up for an investigation involving Brandon Johnson. And I think that she is on the right wavelength, Danny, for calling out Brandon Johnson, the mayor of Chicago. Let's listen to this video. If you guys could, please hit that like button.
An investigation finds Chicago's mayor is not following the rules for gifts he's been given.
Yeah, the Office of the Inspector General tried to get details but was denied. WGN's Dana Revick live tonight on this still developing story. Dana?
Well, Mayor Brandon Johnson calls the OIG's investigation misguided. He told us that he has never seen this so-called gift room inside City Hall. The Inspector General says when these items are not logged properly, it leaves a lot of looming questions as to where they are coming from and the intention behind them.
I don't want people to think, you all, that there's some room in the city government where there's just a wall full of belts and socks and shoes and fancy hats.
It's no secret Mayor Brandon Johnson and previous Chicago mayors received gifts while in office. According to an investigation by the Office of the Inspector General, since 2023, Mayor Johnson has accepted things like Hugo Boss cufflinks, handbags from Givenchy, Gucci, and Kate Spade, a personalized pen from Mont Blanc, and Carucci size 14 men's shoes, many items kept in a gift room at City Hall. Can you disclose now, just to give some examples of who sent you these gifts, and if any of those individuals or organizations received any favors in return?
Well, first of all, thank you for the question. It's a mischaracterization of what's being reported. These are gifts to the city. They're logged.
A city ordinance states that gifts received must be reported to the Board of Ethics and the city's comptroller, but an unwritten arrangement dating back to Mayor Eugene Sawyer, who was in office in the late 1980s, did away with that process. Instead, since then, gifts accepted on behalf of the city were not reported in this way, but rather logged in a book available for public viewing on the 5th floor of City Hall.
We went to the 5th floor in a covert capacity and we asked to see the logbook. We were told we couldn't see the logbook and that we should submit a FOIA request. We submitted a FOIA request. The mayor's office denied it.
The OIG says it was denied access to the gift room, then sending an official letter requesting a detailed list. It found from February 2022 until the end of her term, former Mayor Lori Lightfoot received 144 gifts, nearly 75% of which had an unknown location. Mayor Johnson has received 236 gifts. Only 12% did not list where they were being kept. The OIG found it was unknown who sent almost 70% of all the gifts.
It's atrocious that we don't know every single person who gave a gift, and it would also be helpful to have context. Why were they getting a meeting with the mayor? And maybe what were they asking for in that meeting if they were asking for something?
And we'll make sure that our team gives you the access that you need so that you can see the gifts that are given to the city, not to me.
Huh. Not to him, though. I don't think so. He's busted, can never be trusted. And that's why an investigation should be brought out, not just for that, but just because he has been a terrible mayor and all this money going to the illegals. I think it's a cover for all the monies that he's probably siphoned off the top. This is what is going on. Now, before I continue, let me see what you guys are saying in the chat, and then I'm going to move on to the next topic, which is the melanated folks are also being deported. Jamaicans and Nigerians are unfortunately being targeted for these deportations. And I don't know if they were here legally or not, but I hope to figure that out when we look at the video in just a little bit. But I want to see if you guys have anything to add to this conversation. I don't take for granted you guys leaving comments. It helps the live be better. Charles, oh, you said Peking duck. Very interesting. Okay. All right. Illegals can be a good source or a source of good income for a hotel owner, etc. African Goddess says, yeah, they have been, but it needs to end. That era of just allowing illegals to live off of the system and get a lot of sums of money for these hotel owners or whatever the case may be needs to halt. You said bye-bye Trump 2028. Well, you never know. They're talking about doing a third term. You never know. Your mom's favorite says Hispanic communities in Chicago are strong and powerful for a reason. You think they are? We shall see. Can they withstand the weather? Can they withstand the rain with these deportations? Let's hope that most of them are legal and they won't have to have any issue to show if they're strong or not. My city, NYC, has got a huge immigration issue too. I can imagine they do, Jennifer. I would never want to go live in New York City with all the issues that they got over there. Under no circumstance. Daryl says if he's deporting people, he better start with his wife. Well, we're talking about illegals, Daryl. You guys got to keep that in mind. I don't know why it misses the mind of most of us when we talk about illegal immigration. We're talking about the illegals that have crossed the border illegally. They have bypassed processes and being vetted. They allowed themselves to come through and do whatever the hell they desire to do. So let's now get to the deportations of the Nigerians, about 3,690 from the United States, and the potential consequence of that, according to independent television and radio, is saying. How do I feel about people being deported that are melanated? I don't feel any type of way. This is the law of the land as far as what was in place about the border, and it had been broken. It was compromised by Biden and Harris. And what is Trump to do but to fix what he can? And if it happens to include melanated people getting deported, that's just the way that it has to be for now. You know, so I don't feel no kind of way. I'm kind of indifferent, but it is, I'm pretty sure, kind of angering to a lot of them. And a lot of them, again, look at Black Americans in such a disdain. Many of them do, not all, about our having our birthright. And this is why it's very important for us to know who we are here as Americans and not be told this fabrication of us being something else other than American. People have been trying to pull us away from becoming Americans or being Americans as we are. But many people vie for our positions in America while telling us not to be American and to try to Africanize us. So it's very interesting how they, probably the same people on social media, be up on panels and whatnot, talking hella greasy to Black Americans about going to Africa. And when it's time for them to go, then they probably are crying and screaming and wailing about this reality. So this is why I don't feel anything, because, you know, they be lying to Black Americans about going to Africa while wanting to become what we are here in America. It's very interesting.
All right, thank you so much, Care. The program is still this morning on ITV, independent television from our Benin Network Center. And of course, we are live, direct, and ready to give you the first discussion on our discussion segment of this morning. I have my co-anchors here, Joshua Ukata. Joshua, one more time, good morning. And I know Oluwakwa is also here with us this morning. I know, good morning. Last time I saw it was in Lagos. You're welcome back to Benin.
Thank you so much. Good morning, Evans.
Okay. All right. So the whole story, is now coming into reality now. Talking about President Donald Trump when he was sworn in on the 20th of January 2025. And of course, he promised Americans that his policy was going to be America first. And one of the ways he's doing that now is to ensure that illegal immigrants are being deported as we speak now from the United States of America. Well, before this time, we understand that there were some states known as sanctuary states. Now, those states, if you are there, you could hide under state laws. Even if you are not documented, you could be there and all that and all that. But for the fact that Donald Trump came on board, he gave an executive order that if you are in America, and of course you are not documented, it shows that you are an illegal immigrant and you are not supposed to be there. Now, ICE is a special agency. That's the immigration department agency that is responsible for deportation, is going to streets, raiding establishments in the United States of America, all across the states in the U.S., and of course looking for illegal immigrants to be deported. We have videos that we made, and of course as this discussion goes on, we're going to be rolling the videos so that you begin to really understand what we are talking about. As at yesterday, a total of 4.1 million have been arrested, so to say, and they're going to be deported to various countries of the world. And out of 4.1 million of these illegal immigrants, 3,690 of them are blacks, and of course they are Nigerians. So in a few days from now,
of course, they like to use the word black now conveniently, when all before it was all the tribal talk. Now, when you get into an issue such as what is going on with these deportations in America, they want to label it and tar it black, because they want to try to make it seem like it's the same thing as our black and our rights and our civil rights and everything connected to us. They're trying to connect it to them. It's very fascinating. No, you're not black in the sense of black American black. You are Nigerian, and you are being deported because you are here illegally. It doesn't have anything to do with you being so-called black, because that is like the third thing that you consider yourself. You consider your tribe, you consider your nationality. You do not consider black first. But now he's talking that talk. But it's very interesting how they slip in and out of that conversation when they desire to, but they don't claim it ordinarily.
Our airports, we're going to be welcoming these illegal Nigerians. They're not illegal Nigerians, I beg your pardon. It's illegal immigrants who are Nigerians in the U.S. We're going to be welcoming them back home. So to look at all this morning, we are so privileged to have two gentlemen on our discussion segment this morning. First and foremost, please join me to welcome Ikpomusa Igage, who is joining us virtually from Sweden this morning. Ikpomusa, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Thank you for having me on the show.
And also to Nowita Ikutako is right here, the Syria author and the international conflict resolution expert. Nowita, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure once again.
Yeah. All right, so Ikpomusa Igage, perhaps I will start with you. You are the Nigerian in diaspora, because we are looking at diaspora issues here, and your brothers and sisters face mass deportation from the United States of America. So the big question we are asking is, how will they fit in if eventually they are here with us any moment from now? Ikpomusa.
Nigerian government should actually brace up because there will actually be a communication between both states, the US and Nigeria, as regards the deportation. So it's not going to be just like a surprise on the Nigerian government. So the Foreign Affairs Ministry and the NICOM actually have to prepare themselves to take their biometrics and find a way to integrate them back into the system by giving them startup funds to kind of help them to get going when they arrive in Nigeria. So I think when they drop them at the airport, our government has to come in and take it up from there. So there has to be a government-to-government relationship on this, and we can play our own part by helping our citizens that have been brought back home to actually integrate, even at the state level. So for me, that's my take on the issue.
Okay. If you can hear me, I would love you to give us a feel of how life is like for illegal migrants, who gets to live abroad, because the way they got into the country first off is not even clear or pure, as I would say. So how is it like living there? And then don't you think it's a good thing for them to return back to your homeland where you're free to do some basic things that you do not have to hide, or you do not have to have the fear of, oh, I didn't come here through the right means and all? How is life like, being an illegal migrant?
You are using apple cider vinegar the wrong way. If your goal is to lose belly fat,
Illegal migrant.
I'm just trying to envision that because for me, I'm actually thinking of how did Nigeria actually get there first of all, because when the whole issue of undocumented or illegal migrants started, I was thinking more it's going to affect more the North and South American countries. But for the case of Nigeria, I'm trying to probably they went there on one reason or the other, either visiting or whatever, and probably after it elapsed and they couldn't actually integrate themselves into other visa classes. But definitely, it's actually a hard life because you're just scared of the unknown. You're just running, and whenever you see a law enforcement officer, even if it's not coming for you, you're just scared, and you really can't have your life, sleep, and have that peace of mind. So for me, it's actually very, very terrifying, and you don't know any day it's going to happen, and probably you just get stopped by a police officer, and then they ask for an ID, and then because of the integrated electronic system for their in terms of managing immigration and customs, they can actually verify your status on the go there. So, and from there, you just get picked and taken to the deportation camp where they have to prepare such a person to take them back home. So it's actually a very horrifying experience, and it seems.
Hey, Joe Daniel, be careful with messing with the moderators. African Goddess is a moderator. She is not a Fed. Why do you say she's a Fed account? Why would you say that? Let's get back to this.
Most governments all around the world have actually been there's been this rise of government that are not actually pro-immigration, even in Europe and elsewhere. And then for the case of the undocumented migrant, I think the country stands to actually take a foothold on legal migration and then rather having undocumented or illegal migrants in the country.
I'm having a hard time hearing him. So if I'm having a hard time hearing him, you guys might. Let me fast forward it a little bit, and then I'll get to the chat room. Be respectful to the moderators because they do have power to get rid of you. Don't troll in the comment section saying different things you don't need to be saying. That's for Joe Daniels. I don't know why you came in here and came for African Goddess, but that's very interesting. You said, welcome home, my fellow Nigerians. Of course, they will fit in. Most of them just left, African Goddess says. Timothy says Trump is also to blame for this new air crash. Firing the head of the FAA and other members led to this tragedy. You think so, Timothy? I'm going to have to look into that because I know that they were having immense issues with flights and flying about 3-4 years ago. They were having issues with, what's the name? Boeing planes. I wonder if that was a Boeing plane or a smaller aircraft. I don't know. African Goddess says, no, they should not be given money by the Nigerian government for traveling illegally. They took a chance. It went wrong. African Goddess says, have you ever visited a Hispanic neighborhood in Chicago? Your mom's favorite is asking. No. 99% of the storefronts in the Hispanic communities are in business, not boarded up. Hispanics do the jobs others refuse to do. You might be truthful in some of the aspects of what you say, but not in every aspect. But, I'm glad you're giving it up for Hispanics, Magpie says, because illegal immigrants own legitimate businesses here. Clown. Okay. A lot of them get a chance to have businesses. I know that it used to be a time where more Black folks would have more jobs, or businesses rather. And it just seems to have shrunk. The possibility of having businesses is not as prevalent as it used to be. And it is bizarre that other groups of people get to come over here and normally get those licenses and get those loans and get all the so-called trust from the bank and all of that type of thing, which allows them to get over Black Americans. But now we see also that they bring elements of criminality that Trump is dealing with because they came over here out the gate illegally. So a lot of that is going to change as far as how people have been able to get over on the system and hustle us and get over on top of us. And that's a good thing. That is a good thing. Let's see if this video is going to turn out a little bit better. I fast forwarded it.
The fear of the White House is the beginning of wisdom. So, and everything is documented. Everything is digital.
So when you say the fear of the White House is the beginning of wisdom, is there no place of human face in the law such that persons who are contributing to the GDP, who pay their taxes, even if they might have fallen out of status, is there no sort of waiver, so to speak, given to them?
Such waivers, yes, will be facilitated.
So he's talking about getting some type of waiver if you've been paying taxes, if you have been working. Why cannot not be an option? Because it's just not an option. This is not, we are the world over here in America no more. There's a new person that is going to ensure that a lot of this hanky-panky stuff is not going on with just taking advantage of us wherever and however they desire to do so. So I'm not mad that Nigerians are getting caught up because they came here illegally. I'm not mad about the Jamaicans getting hemmed up and getting collected and deported. It's not going to bother me. But this is just, a question I have. Why are Africans fighting so hard to be Americanized, but they're talking to American folks about not being and remaining American? Why do they get to play that mind trick with us? Is what I would like to know. Why so many are on social media telling us we're not real Americans, and they are fighting tooth and nail to become what we are. That's what I want to know. If somebody in the comment section could please address, why is it okay for Africans to lie to Americans about becoming African versus remaining American? Why they're trying to undermine our Americanness? I want to know why that is. But their ultimate goal is to be an American. Be an American. They want to be an American so bad. So bad. So we need to stop listening to these panelists and to these Pan-Africans and to these lying West Africans who would like to tell us that we're not counting as Americans. And we can see right now we're definitely counting. We have a protection over us. Our birthright protects us over here. No other place are you going to get that around the globe as far as being an American. And we need to respect the power of our protection over here and rest in it and not allow other people who have other intentions and other thought processes about what they would like to see happen in America. A lot of them are not American first, They are not American first.
Out of concern, out of compassion. That's what I'm saying. Maybe for that, some organizations, without letting the White House know, without letting yes, because the law is law. That if you are illegal immigrant, you don't have the necessary paper, you have overstayed, and you are not supposed to be in US a day longer, and you fall into that category to be deported, except there's a clause in the executive order that says, probably we have some guys who are good citizens, who are taxpayers, but the tone, the content of the executive order is very blanket. When I say blanket, is illegal immigrants. So except some organization, out of compassion, those who have some human beings anywhere in the world, will say they will cover. Maybe they will find a way with the organization to say, man, don't come to work today, or let's do some shifting. That would be discretionary. Because I know some certain Nigerians who are working.
You ain't never lied, James. You said, I think they resent hearing Black American citizens complain about how awful their lives are when African nationals would love to be where they are. Yeah, it is a trip. All the blessings that we have, we spend time being angered when there's no reason to be angry. Not like that. I think a lot of it is just performative. A lot of us are just performing arts out here, and they're crying and acting a fool and getting all emotional and doing too much. And it's not even called for. I could see if what's going on right now to the illegals was happening to us. I could see us being upset and indignant and having a righteous anger and all of that. Yeah, I would see it then. I would have a change then. But now you see that we are protected and we need to rest in our protection and understand who we are as being American and stop playing this little silly game of going back and forth about who you want to be. That manipulation has to stop. You said, because they need competent people, African has a long history of arrogance or ignorance, rather. Black Americans are educated. They want Black America to invest in Africa with knowledge and funds. Oh, yes, indeed, Magpie. They want it all. They want everything attached to us. It's very fascinating how they want to just drain us, drip us dry, and leave us with absolutely nothing. Nobody talks about giving back to us and making us whole and complete and respected. They just want from us. What can you give for us? What can we get from you? Hurry up now. We ain't got all day. That is kind of like the sentiment of what they have. No, I don't need help, Joe Daniels. I guess you are out of your mind. It's not true that Africans are ignorant. We have corrupt leaders. That's the issue. African Goddess says, who needs help? Joe is the same person that said that you were what do you say you were? Some type of agent. He called you an agent, so pay him no mind. He called you he said that you have a Fed account, African Goddess, believe it or not. Unbelievable. But yeah, I don't feel bad for melanated folks getting deported. They came over here illegally. You got to be dealt with the same way. Everybody needs to be dealt with the same way. But yeah, we got to stop complaining. Black Americans, if you listen to me, if you sometimes believe some of the things that I say, this is one of those things that I am saying consistently, that you have a protection over your birthright. You need to start honoring who you are as an American. and stop being wishy-washy. Stop being flip-floppish. Stop being unsure. Be clear that you are an American and that you need to be more confident in your skin, knowing what you know, and walk around with your head held high because of all the different things that are happening right now. There's a great reset happening. A great reset is happening. A lot of different changes are coming. And the one thing that can't change is who you are. Who you are is the most important thing about this message. And that is what I hope to get Black Americans to understand who they are and stop the debates and stop the confusion and the chaos. You know, you should have clarity now with all these issues other people are having. You should know. What's up, your mom's favorite? You said hi. Okay.
Because I know some certain Nigerians who are working in the United States, especially in some hospitality organizations, some hotels, as chefs.
Yes.
So are you saying that the service they render to the organization and by virtue of paying taxes to the government too, they won't be considered? That's what my question.
The point I'm making, you don't seem to get it. The point I'm making is that this is an executive order for the presidency. And it's very blanket. There's no clause. So such organizations, such employers have no, official cover or something to hide anybody. But maybe out of compassion, like I said, there's some good human beings who say, this guy is a fantastic guy. He's been with us for 10 years. He's been working, he's paying his tax. Crime free. Maybe that guy or some organizations can have a way to do things, to cover them. But unlike the Nigerian factor, what I want to say here, where people don't respect the establishment, they don't respect institutions, they don't respect the law, they break the law, at will, with impunity. I think we should learn something for the American system, that if an order is given, we should be patriotic. I think that's what has come out of this issue now. Right, okay. The time is going to be patriotic and obey the law, even if the presidency is not even in your cocoon.
Now, speaking about obeying the law, I would love us to also note that it's not just Nigeria that's the only country moving out. Because just recently we saw Colombia and we saw even the saga that happened with the Colombian government and the U.S.
So there's more people being deported from all over the globe. Trump is definitely not talking about the Ukrainians, I notice. He hasn't said a peep about them, but everybody else, as far as I can tell, is on the chopping block. You can be on the chopping block. But we do have Jamaicans as well from SoFlo TV. He says that there is 5,120 Jamaicans to be deported from the United States by ICE, orders already issued. So I want to showcase this video. But this should wake up Black Americans to understand, you need to start owning who you are in America and stop allowing these illegals, these immigrants, these people that are from other places tell you how to feel about you. You should be knowing how to feel, and you should be telling them with a rebuttal, look, I'm not trying to become who you are because you want to become who I am. I'm good as I am. I will stay as I am. I'm not changing for nothing and nobody, because these changes are affecting people that are not like you. They're not like you. They don't have the protection of the birthright citizenship. And that is what Trump is trying to make sure other people don't take advantage of the birthright citizenship. But there is a hold right now on that. We have to wait to see what's going to happen behind that birthright citizenship, if it's going to include people that's just doing drive-ins, fly-ins, sit-ins, whatever they do. You said USA been supporting Ukraine war. They cannot just deport refugees. Yeah, I understand that. But, you know, you could say the same thing about what's going on in Haiti. I haven't heard yet thus far if Haitians are being rounded up yet. But clearly they're having big issues in Haiti. And I'm wondering, would they really deport people back to Haiti or not? I haven't gotten a video about that just yet, but I'm still looking. You said deportations help all Americans, no matter your color. Exactly, Corey. You're right about that. Gitmo. He's sending $30K to Gitmo as soon as Holman gets his hands on them. Yes, exactly, Magpie. What's up, Celia? Thank you for coming through. I really appreciate that. Now, let's get back to the rest of this video. We're going to, well, no, not the rest, the beginning of this video about Jamaicans.
You know, say I don't like to curse, right? But I felt like starting this video off by saying, Bombaras clot. Listen, I have a lot of talking points in this video. For those of you who cringe when you hear Bombaras clot, just know that it's a way that Jamaican people express themselves. It's not necessarily derogatory. It's just vibes of expression. A car driving down the street really fast and it crashes into a tree, make a big explosion. You think somebody might be dead in that car. The average Jamaican would say, Bombaras clot, right? So let's not take things out of context. With that said, though, this is an immigration video. And the United States of America, mainly the man who is in command, the man of the moment right now, Mr. Donald Trump, is not playing around. He's not playing around with Jamaicans. He's not playing around with anybody else at all. Let's get right into the material. Please stay close and pay attention to the many talking points that will be discussed during this very interesting video. I don't know how to say it. Go pull up a chair, roll up a spliff. Light a cigarette. No, don't light no thinking cigarette. Professor, light a split. Fix a drink. Come on into the room. Sit down. Listen to this, please. All right. We start off by going over to news out of Jamaica, which also is the same news printed in the United States of Jamaica or the United States of America. At this point, I sound confused. I talk about United States of Jamaica because there are going to be a lot of Jamaicans in Jamaica talking about United States of Jamaica. They are going to get deported so fast their heads are going to spin. They're not going to know if they're in Jamaica or the US. That's the plan. The headline says more than 5,000 Jamaicans have now been issued with final removal orders from the US. 5,000, you know? Remember, you know, this is just getting started. They're just warming up. Donald Trump just took power the 20th of January 2025.
They're definitely just warming up. He ain't never lied there. He's definitely warming up. Trump is on a roll. And again, this just illustrates why it's very important to accept yourself as being American. It's okay. It is okay. It is especially now okay to do. The Jamaicans, 5,120 to be deported, already issued their release to go. It's crazy, yo. You said most war zones have safe areas. Oh, okay. Let's listen back to this.
9 days ago, 5,000 Jamaicans on the menu. I mean, I talk about menu for Nyam. On the list to be deported right now. As it stands, it says that a little over 5,000. To be exact, I'll give you the numbers in a second. A little over 5,000 Jamaicans are listed among more than 1.4 million non-citizens in the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement non-detained docket with final orders of removal. This is in their non-detained docket. That means the final order of removal has been served, but these people are not in custody. So the ICE agents who are out in the streets are looking for them actively. You know what's going on right now.
who used to stay at this address don't move already if they plan to stay on.
Exactly. They are definitely got their orders, and they are definitely finding whomever is on those lists. Praise God, you're not on those lists as the American. We got to respect our elders and our ancestors who know who they were, who knew who they were, who was proud of who they were. We got to start bigging up our people that did a lot for us here and, you know, reverence them. You know what I'm saying? I might be doing some Black History Month. I might do some Black History stuff to include for the month of February. But it's very important to just big up your own. You know, people are trying to get us to not consider our own ancestors and don't consider yourself anything in America. And these same people are the basic ones that are trying to become you. It's just really a trip to see this. They would give an arm to be in the position of what we are in. We should stop complaining as much. We really should.
I run from New York or Miami right now. Man, I run from Miami to New York right now. Man, running from South Carolina to Atlanta right now. Just trying to get away from any address or relatives that they have on record, or maybe hiding in the house, but a dangerous place for hiding.
And you know that they're going to try to get some hookups. These desperate men that are on these lists are going to try to figure out how to get with a single woman with kids and try to hide and hoard themselves with her. Beware, Black American women. Don't be picking up these lone men that are on these lists who are desperately seeking somewhere to go. They know that they can't be in the houses that are housing them because the authorities are coming to those houses. So be wary. Don't pick up no strangers from these areas that may be these illegals. Definitely, if they have an accent and they are overly concerned about you, I would be wary. I'm just saying. All right. You said, let me go back up. Magpie says, refugees that have been here, that have started paperwork, they will still get proper hearings. They probably will assess the ones that came in the last 4 years. So you're saying that if they've been here longer than 4 years, they might have a grace period for them? They might get lucky, or you think that they're all going to go? I don't know. It sounds like most of them are going if they're in contact with ICE right now. Yes, Jose says Trump's not playing. We, the people, wanted this. If you come back and do it the right way, we welcome you with open arms. But if not, you got to go. I heard that, Jose Pagan. Thank you for that. I appreciate you. Tanya says, when are they deporting Melania the White? Melania the White. I don't know who Melania the White is. If you're talking about the First Lady, she is legally here. We're only talking about illegals, Tanya. Please don't be a crash dummy for illegals. They would not ever, never, never in a million years ever crash dummy out for you. Nobody's going to crash dummy out for you. So you got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, and know when to run. And this is one of those times you fold them, you don't do nothing. You steer clear of the situation, because ain't nobody going to be tripping off of you like that. They never would be tripping off of you. Just know that much. That's why we're so hated in a lot of different spaces, in a lot of different ways. A lot of people like to hate on Black American people. I don't know what it is. You said, Tanya, don't be a clown. We talking illegal immigrants. Exactly, Magpie. Black history, American history. Exactly. It is American history. I meant to say that. But, you know, so many ways people are trying to diminish and get rid of anything pertaining to Black history, conversations about civil rights and whatnot. I wonder if Trump is going to try to change our history month. I hope not. I hope he does not target February to not be our history month no more, because we really need it. You said the best option for illegal immigrants right now, sneak out so you can apply properly and come back, Magpie said. Yeah, hurry up and go as best as you can. But it's a little bit too late, because I think that they're getting them at the airports. They probably station at the bus stations, train stations, airports. They probably got them all the way locked down. And it's all on them, because they had an opportunity to get out of Dodge well before Trump got into office. He didn't start until right when he got in office, like the very next days when all shit hit the fan, everything hit the fan. But they knew back in November that this time was coming. Like, most people just think that, maybe he was air talking, just talking with hot air. He wasn't talking with hot air. Trump was not talking with hot air. He meant exactly what he said. And he's doing exactly what he said, whether we are ready for it or not. I guess most of us figure it would take some time before he started, maybe a month or so, maybe a few months or so. No, day one. Don't think Trump will want money spent on Black History Month for Black African Goddess says. You don't think so? Oh, I don't know. There's stuff to gain by us spending money on the holiday. I mean, on the month, going out, eating, going out to get films or movies or whatever, music. Let's get back to this.
Still, according to the documents that were published by ICE as of November 24th of last year, there were 5,120 Jamaican nationals who would be targeted for removal under this new immigration system. 5,120 is the exact numbers. I'm saying to myself, well, little Jamaica gonna do with 5,120 Jamaican if they round them up. As aggressive as Trump's ICE agents are going, if they round up 5,120 Jamaicans and send them back one time, guess what? There's a whole lot more here who they're going to round up as well. The island is also listed among 11 countries that are considered to be at risk of non-compliance in accepting the return of their nationals. That's a lie. Again, it says Jamaica is listed among 11 countries that are considered to be at risk of non-compliance in accepting. In other words, the government of that country might say, we don't want these people here. That's a lie. Jamaica government has never said we don't want these people here. And that's one of the big problems, actually. They take everybody. Jamaica are taking people who is not even Jamaican that got deported to Jamaica, and that is no bullshit. Listen, we have to laugh, right? Jamaica has even taken in people who are not Jamaican who got deported to Jamaica. Remember the story I told you about the man from Great Britain who did how many years for murder? He said he had reformed himself, but when time came for him to get released from prison in the UK, they gave him deportation papers to Jamaica. He argued with them for a month or two pending his deportation, saying, listen, I was born and raised in the UK. I don't know where you're sending me, mate, because I've never been to Jamaica. But the man said eventually, because they kept pressing it, he done did over 20 years in prison already. So he was like, man, frig it, send me to Jamaica. All I've ever known about Jamaica is beaches and pretty girls and big body woman and nice life. So it can't be no worse than this prison right here. So he took a chance and he let them deported him. That man ended up begging England to take him out of Jamaica. Then he started knocking on the door. Yo, please come get me. I told y'all I wasn't I told y'all I wasn't from here. I don't know why y'all sent me here. All right, I'm done playing.
his whole story was told in a video we did recently. He ended up having a very hard time in Jamaica, and it was nothing like the movies, music videos, or the romanticized stories he heard before. But my point is, Jamaica take back even not take back, took people who weren't even born there. So for them to put us in the U.S. news,
again, having your ID on you, having everything updated on you is very, very important these days. It's really no excuse if you are pulled over and asked for your ID and somehow you don't have it. There's really no excuse because you know what's going on right now. I hope my people will heed the warning. If you can't keep up with your ID because you lay it around or whatever the case may be, at least put it in your phone. Take a picture of it. That way you won't be treated as such, or assumed to be from somewhere else you're not. You don't want to take a trip somewhere you're not from. Just like he just said, like somebody from the UK was determined to be from Jamaica and was deported there, and he never ever been in Jamaica ever before. So that just goes to show you that the system can fail you. Why help it be failed? Do your best. You got to these days. I know it's an inconvenience for us to be prepared, but that's just the way it is right now. We got to be prepared. You said these people who left prior to Trump were wise. Yes, they were, African goddess. Magpie says those prisoners that Trudeau is sending to Africa, once their sentence is over, do they come back or get released in Africa? I didn't know anything about that. Deport every illegal, pissed off cat says. I don't know about prisoners in Trudeau. I have to look that up. I haven't never heard about that, but that's interesting about whether or not they would be released in Africa. That's crazy. But you do know, if you were here yesterday, Trump was saying that he has in mind, I don't know if it's legal or not to consider, but he said if you are a repeated offender to the 10th power, he might have a place for you outside of America. That was a trip for him to say. But he said he's looking into it, which is very interesting. So, like I said, change is coming. If there's behavioral issues that you may have or activities that you're partaking in, if you could stop right now and just change your life for the good. Yes. Oh, you said Gitmo. Yes, they could possibly go there. You're not lying. There's 30,000 beds now. They can put about 300 of us over there. Wouldn't that be a trip? That would definitely be a trip. So if you are a repeated offender to the 10th power, don't be surprised if you are going to go to Gitmo or go somewhere else that he has in mind for you to go, because Trump is about action. He is not about talk. He talks the talk, but he's attempting to walk the walk as well. You said it's ridiculous that Black History Month is a month long. Why is it ridiculous? Sorry, Black History Month. Wow, you said it's ridiculous that it's a month long. How long do you think it should be, Big Reggie? You said I call it We Was King's Month, but it's a good thing, King Malu, because we got to remember some of the things that we have accomplished because people are trying to undermine our memory. I don't celebrate Juneteenth, but I hear about it. Deport anchor babies, start with Trump's kids. Oh, Lord, you know that's not going to happen. Our warriors and war fighters only get one day called Veterans Day. Well, you could make up, if you want in your mind and heart, to make out a month for them to be honored if that's what you want to do. Oh, you're a native Hawaiian? Oh, okay. Thank you for coming through. I really appreciate you. Now let's get back to the video though. If you have any thoughts about the fact that melanated people also are getting hemmed up, they are also getting deported behind this Trump's administration. How do you feel? Do you think that we should feel anything as Americans? I'm saying that I don't want to defend illegals. That is not my plight. I'm not going to get involved in it at all. I'm just going to back my president and let it go.
For them to put us in the U.S. news and say Jamaica is listed among 11 countries that are considered to be at risk of non-compliance in accepting the return of their nationals, that's pure propaganda and a lie. Anyways, the Caribbean island of St. Lucia is also included on that list. We don't know about St. Lucia business, but St. Lucia is a part of the Caribbean, and we deal with Caribbean affairs, mainly Jamaican affairs, but Caribbean all around, right? ICE, the deporting people, noted that while at risk of non-compliance, countries accept removals. They fail to meet one or more cooperative country criteria, which may include delaying the issuance of travel documents or refusing to accept certain categories of their nationals or not accepting chartered removal flights. There has been renewed focus on documented immigrants in the U.S. following the execution of Donald Trump's administration's plan to impose severe limits on immigration. In the meantime, what you should know here is like this. Trump ain't playing no games. He'll do like this. Oh, you don't want to take back those 5,000 Jamaicans that we got rounded up? Well, guess what? Nobody else could get a visa to come back into the U.S. No student visas, no work visas, no nothing until you take your people back, right? And then, of course, there are also tariffs that could be put on and sanctions that could be put on. So the Jamaican government, honestly, are probably afraid of all those things. So they have to play nice and take whoever comes back. We're going to talk about that deeper in a minute. Who's coming back, the conditions in which they'll be sent back, how this will impact Jamaica, a small island, on a community level and even on a bigger level. So in the meantime, U.S. Immigrations and Customs Enforcement has listed several other Caribbean countries whose citizens are also facing deportation. So let Jamaica know that we are not the only ones, because at the top of the list, you have Haiti, 32,363 individuals, followed by the Dominican Republic with 12,699 individuals. And Jamaica, of course, not to be left out, is in third place with 5,100 plus individuals. You know how Jamaica stay already, right? We have it in at the top three all the time. Gold, silver, or bronze, that's a full style. No, me have to laugh. All right, so there are also smaller Caribbean nations who are also featured on this list, including Barbados. Barbados has about the numbers are specific as they have been released. 151 Barbados or Bajans are on the deportation list. St. Lucia has 202 and Grenada has 149. Remember, you know, Jamaica number big, you know. Toronto, Jamaica number is 5,120. St. Lucia, only 202. Grenada, only 149. Compared to Jamaica, 5,000. Mexico actually leads the global list with a staggering 252,044 Mexican citizens who have been issued deportation orders to leave the United States of America. Caribbean governments have been urged to be proactive and to put some contingency plans in place to receive their nationals, because this is not normal. and the numbers that they'll be sent back in is no normal numbers. Let's talk about the numbers they'll be sent back in. Let's talk about the impact. Forced mass expulsion of Jamaican nationals and the ICE Enforcement and Removal Operations, or the ERO group, have jumped nearly 1,450%. Checks have uncovered.
Yes. High numbers of deportations going to be going on in Trump's administration, definitely. Jazub says, melanated or not, is not the issue, illegal is. Okay, I got you. Exactly. I honestly don't believe that illegal migration is worth the risk, African Goddess says. Magpie says, just carry your ID. Take a picture of it on your phone. Illegal immigrants are from multiple countries, yellow, white, black, brown, purple. Just carry your ID. Charles says, right. And Tank says, I'm not going to lie. This reminds a lot of Bill Clinton, the way he handled gangs in the 90s. Okay, is that right? I think I'm predicting that after all this migration or illegal, dealing with the illegals, Trump's going to set his sight on the gangs of America. Why not? Why not target them next? They're going to be on the table as well. Probably ongoing at the same time that these things are happening with these illegals, but they're going to be more honed in onto the criminals of our country once Trump has a handle over these illegals. I bet you. Watch. You said the main impact on the countries the illegals come from is the reduction of remittance money. Yes, African Goddess, that's right. As a taxpayer, I want to see the border defended with the weapons, training, and personnel we are all forced to fund. Dave says, exactly. And how are you doing, Kia Ria? I'm sorry if I massacred your name. Yet none of these areas cared when the people of the United States was put at risk. Didi says. None of these areas cared when the people of the United States was put at risk. What do you mean by put at risk? I'm just trying to get some clarity on what you mean by that. Again, there are a lot of people that are not happy about these deportations of the Jamaicans, of the Nigerians. You have the Hispanics or the Latinos. You have people from Africa being deported. He is really making good on his promises, is all I can say. He is not playing around with none of us. And I would just expect him to transfer some of that stuff to us. Let me see. What else was I going to talk about? Oh, yeah. Trump's administration has offered buyouts to nearly all federal workers, y'all. Did you guys hear this bit of news right here? He is trying to buy out the federal workers. Take a listen to this.
Before his election, Trump made a campaign promise to reduce government spending, and now he is making 2 million federal workers an offer to leave their jobs willingly. But can he, and how will that work? And is it legal? NBC 7's Kelvin Henry joins us to break it down.
This applies to all federal workers except for people in the military, those involved with immigration enforcement and national security, and postal workers. Now today, leaders are weighing in, and an attorney I spoke with say that this may be a bumpy road ahead.
This is part of Donald Trump's effort to shrink the scope of the federal government.
Attorney Dan Egan explains what the offer is.
Well, it's a buyout in the sense that if you resign, we're going to give you this money.
The offer was emailed to federal employees on Tuesday afternoon. According to the Congressional Research Service, the federal government employs around 2 million civilians, of which tens of thousands are right here in San Diego County. A Trump administration official tells NBC News they expect between 5 to 10% of the workforce to accept a deal which they estimate will lead to around $100 billion in savings. But Dan Eaton questions if those estimates are accurate and what will happen next.
We're not sure how many people are going to accept it, and whether it actually results in a substantial reduction will depend on that. So what happens if enough people don't accept this offer? Does the federal government take the next step of saying, okay, well, we're simply going to eliminate your position?
The uncertain path, details, and rollout are leading some attorneys to discuss if this is legal.
Drastic times call for drastic measures.
Speaker of the House of Representatives Mike Johnson, who is the leader of the body that controls the purse strings, supports the move.
The new president can't come in and just walk into an agency and say you're all fired. He's not allowed to do that under the law. And so the president is thinking outside the box.
But what if the offer changes?
People are not going to want to resign and then later be told, oh, by the way, we accept your resignation, but we're not going to pay you for this time through September.
Eaton says one thing is certain, this offer won't be a straight and easy path ahead.
This is the first word on an effort to shrink the federal government workforce. But it won't be the only word, and it won't be the last word.
Only time will tell when that last word comes. Kelvin Henry, NBC7.
He's doing everything he can to trim the fat. That's what he's doing. All the way around, he's looking to trim that fat. Now, somebody mentioned earlier about the deadly plane crash. I want to play a little clip of that because some new details have come out about the deadly mid-air plane crash near DC airport. Let's take a listen to this. I know Trump did make mention about this crash. I might play a tidbit of that, and then I'm going to go after that. Let's listen.
We are learning more details about those on board and the recovery efforts. Here's a live look at the scene right now. As you can still see the wreckage in the water. Rebecca Castor has more from the president.
Officials announced this morning that search and rescue efforts have now turned to recovery. And with no survivors expected, this could become the deadliest U.S. air crash in 24 years. Dozens of bodies have been pulled from the icy waters of the Potomac in the hours since the shocking collision between an American Airlines jet and a military Black Hawk helicopter captured on this EarthCam video.
Hold your positions, please, on the field right now. Both the helicopter and the plane crashed in the river. All runways are closed. Nobody's landing. No one's moving at all. I just saw a fireball, and then it was just gone.
The jet, which was carrying 60 passengers and 4 crew members, was about to land at Ronald Reagan National Airport after taking off from Wichita, Kansas. U.S. figure skaters, coaches, and their family members are just some of the passengers confirmed to be on board. They were returning home from a training camp in Wichita following the U.S. Figure Skating Championship. The helicopter, which was on a training flight, had 3 soldiers on board. Officials say these were routine flight patterns.
It was a fairly experienced crew, and that was doing a required annual night evaluation. They did have night vision goggles.
As we wait for more information, President Trump and his administration says this tragedy could have been prevented.
It was cold but clear, and clear as you could be. The American Airlines plane had lights blazing. They had all of their landing lights on. You had a confluence of bad decisions that were made, and you have people that lost their lives.
Reagan National Airport was closed after the crash, but it is now reopened to flights. In Arlington, Virginia, Rebecca Castor, Fox 32 Chicago.
Wow. So there's a lot more that could be said about all these planes. I don't know who's at fault. Hopefully they'll tell us more details about it, but I always have been fearful of flying for that very reason, because of the finality of if you get it wrong. 64 people have died. My goodness. Von Gost says hello. What's up? How are you? You said the FAA administration was made up of one person. Leo says you think all those people would be alive if there was an FAA administrator right now. So he got fired, huh? That plane crashed into a military helicopter. Yes, it did. Leo is saying that President Elon Musk, made the FAA administrator resign. If they take the offer, they get paid with benefits until September. I think that Trump would not lie in front of the whole entire public about what he was going to do for federal workers. So if they want to take him up on that offer, they can. Jeffrey says, amen. Dee Dee says, I do not believe that he should have offered any money. If they don't come back to work, they should be fired. I heard that. You're right about that. And Magpie says, if we send them back to the last country they came from. Ooh. Angry Nate Reviews says, seeking asylum is not flying to countries to travel through 5 other countries to get to the United States. It literally and legal does not fit the description of seeking asylum. Angry Nate, thank you for that. Trump says, get into the office for work or get out. Here's some money. I know that's right. Didi says, letting all of these illegal immigrants come here so that they didn't have to deal with their own. Dang, that's true. Clean house, massive prison built in El Salvador. El Salvador clean house, massive prison built. Hood Living says, I guess we're not going to find any used baby diapers in the Target parking lot anymore. Oh my goodness, Hood Living. DD says, yet none of these areas cared when the people of the United States was put at risk. All right. I really appreciate everybody commenting. You said he is too much. Susan says, I saw an article a few years ago that the airport towers lowered their standards for traffic controllers. Well, kind of what Trump eluded. Let me see if I can find a video real quick where he talked about the airplane crash, because he did make mention of the airplane crash, and he had his own theory or thought during he gave a long statement. Hold on. Okay, let's get to this. And by the way, if you guys could, please do me a favor by hitting that like, share, and subscribe. There are interesting topics that I bring up on this platform. I intend to try to keep up with Trump as best I can with the latest that he does, because it does affect a lot of lives, like in the here and now. And I hope that my people, all Americans, will listen to what I have to say, my opinions, as far as what I see and what I observe. And also for us to just keep up with Trump to the best of our ability. Then I try to talk about another topic if I have time during the live as well. But I appreciate everybody for commenting. I appreciate everybody for hitting the like button and for subscribing to my channel. Now, here is Trump, supposedly, according to Washington Post, is saying that Trump blames Biden, the DEI, for DC plane crash. Let's listen to this.
We must have only the highest standards for those who work in our aviation system. I changed the Obama standards from very mediocre at best to extraordinary. You remember that. Only the highest aptitude, they have to be the highest intellect and psychologically superior people were allowed to qualify for air traffic controllers. That was not so prior to getting there. When I arrived in 2016, I made that change very early on because I always felt this was a job that, and other jobs too, but this was a job that had to be superior intelligence, and we didn't really have that, and we had it. And then when I left office and Biden took over, he changed them back to lower than ever before. I put safety first. Obama, Biden, and the Democrats put policy first. And they put politics at a level that nobody's ever seen because this was the lowest level. Their policy was horrible, and their politics was even worse. So as you know, last week, long before the crash, I signed an executive order restoring our higher standards for air traffic controllers and other important jobs throughout the country. So it was very interesting. About a week ago, almost upon entering office, I signed something last week that was an executive order, very powerful, on restoring the higher standards of air traffic controllers and others, by the way. Then my administration will set the highest possible bar for aviation safety. We have to have our smartest people. It doesn't matter what they look like, how they speak, who they are. It matters intellect, talent, the word talent. You have to be talented, naturally talented geniuses. You can't have regular people doing that job. They won't be able to do it. But we'll restore faith in American air travel.
Okay, so that's what he had to say. He had other stuff that, he said, but you have to go to Forbes Breaking News and you can listen to all of the questions that he took from reporters in regards to that plane helicopter crash. Rest in peace to everybody that lost their life in the plane and the helicopter. Condolences to all family and friends in relation to that crash and everybody that lost their life. I'm sorry to report that, but that's what just happened not that long ago. And like I said, I hope that you guys would support by hitting the like button. I think now would be a good time to maybe play a little bit of music. I have, sometimes I like to play music towards the end and take requests from the audience. If I can play it, I will play it. So I'm saying, if you guys have a suggestion, let me know what type of song you would like to hear. And if I'm able to play it, I will. While I wait, I'll get started with Norman Brown I'll play Do You Love Me by Jonathan Butler. Let me start off with that. Hold on. You know what? Before I start the music, I forgot to see you guys' comments. I'm sorry about that. I almost forgot. Let me first put that on ready. But I don't want to miss you guys' comments too. And I have 2 songs that I have in mind that I want to play. But let me see what you guys are saying real quick. Mark says, I blame the Wright brothers. This is crazy, Jesus. Jane Doe says, this is too much going on. Susan says, I saw an article a few years ago that the airport towers lowered their standards for traffic controllers. Oh, I read that. Melanated, Sean asked, I guess. Relian says, it's not true. The same laws have been in effect since 2013. All right, eluded. Okay. Jerry says, hi, how are you? DD says, standards should have never been lowered because some people can't meet them. Thomas says, you're full of ish. Okay. Magpie says, DEI should not be the standard when other people's lives are in their hands. Exactly. Point taken. Jane Doe says, so tell me why the helicopter was in the way. It should never be in the way at the time. Okay, so something is not right. You think it was done on purpose, Jane Doe? Thomas says, so one man saying, oh, Delicia, cheap way to keep trying to blame accidents on people. People like women like yourself, okay? You said DEI, Lissa. I don't know what you meant by that, Thomas. Impeach this man. Why impeach him, Shauna? Thomas says, there have never been any issue except that traffic controllers need more air traffic controllers. Called Reaper had to do with the radio tower, but still waiting. This just happened. It wasn't his fault that the communications on the helicopter wasn't good, but pray for families. Thomas says, bearing false witness, blaming people just because you all think they are not qualified. So let me ask you, that's just a presumption that Trump made. It may or may not be the truth, but we will find out as time goes on now, won't we, Thomas? Jane Doe says, also the plan. This was the time to land, okay? Thomas says, why can a man do this job better than a woman? If there is none, there is no physical limitations that give a man of an advantage of being an air traffic controller. John says, Elvis Presley, I'll remember you. Okay, let me put that in. I might not be able to play Elvis, though. I'll try, though. I'm going to look it up and try to see if I can play Elvis. I haven't heard Elvis in a long time, to be honest. That is the 60s or the 50s. I'll remember you. All right, let me save that. I got to find somebody else without him. Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can play that. Put that in my phone. Okay. And Larry says, isn't it great to have a government that holds press conferences? Oh, yes, because I know if Kamala was president, she would be hiding out. She would not be out in the public at all. Larry says, well, I just read that. John says, I am happy that Trump in office. Now I can breathe. Yes, I heard that. Air traffic controllers need to be multitaskers. Scientific fact, women are better multitaskers. Yes, we are at most of the time, Thomas. John says, Elvis Presley, I'll remember you sing it. Okay, I'll play it. That's not what he did. Oh my God, lie. Thomas says. Ronald says, there are so many planes flowing in and out. Why now? After Trump fired a lot of aviation personnel, we have a crash. So when was that the standard lowered? I don't know, but I hope more information will come out, Ronald, and I will do an update about this. If there's something suspicious about the plane crash that resulted behind Trump firing some people, I will keep up on the story and try to report it another time. It's my first time really hearing about it. You said, well, time will tell, and they need to go more deep into this. Okay, Jane Doe says, you're right. I wish people would bring up racism every 4 years for presidency, John Pratt says. Every 4 years for presidency? All right. Ronald says, Trump should have gotten all information before we made stupid comments. Okay. I mean, not bring up presidency again. Sorry. Or not bring it up. Presidency again. All right. Oh my goodness, people, this is so sad. My goodness. Y'all are fully brainwashed, Steven says. It's melanated, not melon. Oh, okay, I have to rewrite that again. Thank you for correcting me, Casey. I just probably did it too fast. Jane Doe says, well, they need to get more evidence. Yeah, they have to do that. I think there is a tape about it. Hold on, let me see. I think the airplane had a tape. So let me see if I can find that. Airplane crash tape. Let's see if they have a tape. Audio. All right, let me see. All right, we're going to listen to the DC air traffic control before crash, okay? This was just 15 hours ago. Hopefully they're going to play it all the way. If you guys could, please hit that like button. Please share and subscribe. I will greatly appreciate that.
We're turning around some audio tape that we now have in our possession, and it is let me just read you what I have here. It is between Pat 25 and DCA Tower. It's the air traffic controllers who are apparently in conversations with the two aircraft as they are coming into this particular airspace. Obviously, Leland Biddert reported earlier to us that he learned that at the final approach, the American Airlines Flight 5342 was told to switch to a different runway, to runway 33, and the pilot said, we can do that. All right, we've got this audio. This is scanner audio of the air traffic controllers. So I'm just going to play it for you.
S25, this is Sergey in flight. S25, F1 is Sergey. Aircraft inside pursuit separation. Separate. Support 72, Washington, 1 star, 32017. American 3130, go around turn left in 250, Clement 3000.
So again, that was audio between Pat 25, and I'm sorry I can't tell you what Pat 25 means, but the DCA Tower I can certainly tell you. It's air traffic controllers, and I felt like I could discern some yelling in the background there. Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find.
I couldn't really make it out. I'm sure that you guys couldn't really make it out either. But if there's any other information or evidence that comes out in relation to this crash, I will try to do update on it. And speaking of update, I was going to talk about the update about the fire too before I go, because they are making they found the cause to determine the cause of the deadly California wildfire. Let me show you that now. And then I'm going to play some music and I'm going to go. But this is a new video that could help determine the cause of the deadly California wildfire. So let's listen to this.
Investigations continue tonight into what caused the recent deadly California wildfires. Surveillance video might provide a new clue into how one of them began in Los Angeles earlier this month.
At least 17 people died in the Eaton fire, and some residents now taking legal action against the power company. ABC's Declan Lee has more.
With thousands of people displaced in Altadena, California after the devastating Eaton fire, a lawsuit filed against the power company, SoCal Edison, points out alarming surveillance video that attorneys argue shows how the fire started. In this gas station surveillance footage, attorneys for residents who are suing argue this flash is when the power line sparked the flames. This other clip shows the fire spreading rapidly in the mountainside within 10 minutes.
This equipment, we believe, it shows the arcing and a fire blazing just minutes afterward.
Hey, babe, I need you to come out here right now. We have a very big problem.
What?
This ring video shows residents Jeffrey and Cheryl Koo becoming alarmed at a fire sparking at the base of a transmission tower at 6:11 p.m. It appears to match the timeline from other eyewitnesses in the area. The couple speaking with ABC's Matt Gutman.
At that time, that when we saw it, it was just at the base of the tower.
Outside court on Monday, SoCal Edison denying the claim that power lines at the transmission tower were faulty.
We did not find any faults on lines. What we did is a deeper dive, and we found some distant lines that did have some faults, but they don't serve the canyon.
SoCal Edison tells ABC News they saw the video after the New York Times provided it and said it is evaluating it as part of an ongoing investigation. A judge ordering the company cannot alter or change any of its equipment inside the Eaton fire zone for at least 3 weeks.
The LA Medical Examiner's Office reporting another fire-related death related to the Palisades fire, bringing the total number of deaths between the two fires to 29. Jacqueline Lee, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Okay, so there might be the cause to the California crazy, devastating fire that I've never ever heard about. And of course, certain places are still having evacuations and fires and stuff like that is still going on. But I just wanted to show a little bit about, the fact that it is still being investigated, but it might be determined to be those wires of the tower. So that's unfortunate. So let me try to get this song. Now, I can't remember this song, but someone suggested Elvis Presley, I'll Remember You. I'm going to try to see if I can play it. Oh, you know what? I can't play this one because it's copywritten. Hold on. I might not be able to play it because he's a classic. He is definitely a classic. I'll try, but SME owns the copyright for a lot of his stuff, and unless I can find somebody else that recorded it without the stamp of him, I can't unfortunately play it. Let me try to say lyrics for it. Oh man. No, they won't let me play this, unfortunately. So what I'll do is I'll play a song, and if you have another suggestion other than what I can't play that song, I'll Remember You by Elvis Presley, unfortunately. SME will strike me down. So instead, I'll play this little jazz song from Jonathan Butler. He's from South Africa, and he did a song called Do You Love Me? And after that, I will look to see if there's anybody else that have suggestions for songs, preferably old school, because the newer stuff will definitely get got. And the really, really old stuff by really, really famous artists like Elvis Presley, Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston, just different ones like that. You can't really play all their stuff for some reason. It's like that. But I'll play some other type of song if you prefer. But let's get to this.
Don't let me stop to think about it, 'cause I feel a little fear, but I'm ready to go. Just gotta jump right in and say it. Get the courage up to ask, pray that you won't say no. If I'm not the one, don't expect my heart to understand. But I'm not gonna run till I say these words. Can I be your man? Do you love me? Do you love me? Will you take my hand? Do you love me? Do you love me? Will you take my hand? Don't let me fumble in my pocket, where I've got a little ring that I want you to wear. Had both our names engraved on it, and I wonder what I'd do if you say you don't care. I have come prepared
All right. Well, that song that you wanted me to play, unfortunately, it comes only off of their thing. I think I will get a copyright strike, so I don't want to take a chance on that. Do you have another old school song perhaps I could play? Think about that. He says he won't be happy till he is king, and we are all dead. Our media stops us, not him. Then he will stop them. Okay, Ralph Perry, very interesting. I don't know about all that. Seeing is believing. I'm not gonna go for that. You too bad, ratty and hum. What does that mean? Is that a song? Hold on. I'll see. You too bad. I bet you it's something that's not easy to do. I don't know what it is. You guys don't want to get average songs or songs that are not copywritten. I never heard of this group before. Yes, live stuff. I can't play the live stuff. Yeah, you'd be trying to get me to play live things or videos that are shown. I can't do that. Unfortunately, I can't play that. I wish I could. I don't want to get my video snatched, though. When is he going to sign the George Floyd Act? Dean asked. I hope eventually we're going to get to that. But first, what's most important is to get these illegals out that are dangerous. That is the top priority that he has. We have to give him a moment to be able to do all the things he needs to do. In the meanwhile, it's only been how many days? It's been literally, today is 10 days. The man has been in office. He is not God. He has to do, everything he has to do is top priority. So I'm hoping that he does get to that, but I'm not going to pressure that right now while he's in the middle of deportations. I mean, that doesn't make sense to do. Okay, play Pride by YouTube. Okay. You guys are scaring me with you guys' selections lately. I think I heard of YouTube before. We don't need no damn George Floyd Act. What was the George Floyd Act supposed to do? I don't even know. Was it supposed to stop police brutality? All right. Pride, the name of, let's see what this is.
Hi, this is Patayo, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A Grilled Spicy Deluxe Sandwich is that first bite. I really like
Okay. All right, I think I can get away with playing this. Somebody's saying that I can't play this version. Francis Wicks. I don't know what is going on, but what do you think? Let me see. I don't want to play something that's going to get me in trouble. Whatever, Francis. Whatever. It was only for less than a minute, so report that. Let me see. What else can I do? You're a musician, Golden Brown? That's cool. That is cool. I wish that we would stay with R&B, jazz, old school songs that are normally not with Francis. Go away. I'm tired of you. Hold on. Get rid of Francis. I'm tired of singing you. Let me see. Let me put you on timeout. Goodbye, Francis. Go away. I don't need to keep singing you. So, anyways, it's gone. Go away. We got a lot of trolls now that want to be here. Man, fucking crazy. Anyways, this has gotten really interesting. I do have another song that I can play. Let me get this song. I'm going to play Faith Evans, Don't Be Afraid. Because that's what we do over here. We don't be afraid. We just speak the truth and showcase what we need to show. And that's what it's going to be. afraid. Well, I don't have any other songs that I have set to play, but I guess you want to hear, or you're a baritone. Are you a male Golden Brown or a woman? I guess baritone means male. That's good that you're a singer, a vocalist, and you play piano. I love to hear that or see that. That's awesome. Anyways, I guess I'm going to conclude this video. I appreciate everybody for coming out to listen to me. I think it's very vital that we keep up on what Trump's doing and how he's moving, because he's moving kind of quick. Okay, you said any song. You on that confunction tip, okay? I appreciate everybody for spending time with me, though. And I hope that you guys would support by hitting the like button and show your support. What can I play? I have listened to that song recently. Trying to pick one that I haven't picked before. No, my voice is really taking a hit. I can't speak like I usually speak or sing the way I used to sing. My voice is tripped out a little bit. I wish I could sing like I used to. Gotta be enough. Let me see. Got to be enough. Lyrics. Okay, I'm gonna play Got to Be Enough. I can't remember if I played this one before or not, but we'll take a listen.